Immortal Cultivation. I run an internet cafe in another world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 601. Encountering the Bluestone again. Therefore, Bai Luo took some time to deal with these people. As expected, Bai Luo's cultivation had improved a lot, and it was more than enough to deal with these people. However, since the opponent's strength was not bad, Bai Luo could only deal with these people now, and he could not repel them all at once. Mondo on the other side immediately reacted after seeing this situation. He naturally believed in Bai Luo's strength very much. Since Bai Luo had already given this task to him, Mondo would definitely not disappoint Bai Luo's expectations of him. So Mondo took Duo2 and the others away quickly and moved forward along the route on the map. Because Bai Luo had completely delayed those people, no one caught up. Duo2 on the side was quite worried about Bai Luo's safety. Although he also knew that Bai Luo's cultivation was extremely high, there were too many people on the side after all. He couldn't help but look behind him and then said to Mondo on the side with great concern, "Brother, do you think Brother Bai will be in danger? I feel that those people are not easy to deal with. Otherwise, let's go back and be with Brother Bai. If something unexpected happens, it will be too late for us to regret." Mondo was actually a little worried, but Bai Luo had already said so just now, and that was because Bai Luo trusted him enough. So Mondo finally rejected Duo2's request and then said to Duo2 beside him, "Brother has already said so, and we have no other choice now. We can only trust Brother Bai now, and I think he will definitely come back safely, so we don't have to worry so much." On the other side, Bai Luo has been dealing with these people for a while now. They fought evenly, but Bai Luo also found that he had fought with these people for so long and did not gain any advantage. And those people also found that even with the advantage in numbers, they could not suppress Bai Luo, and the two teams just fought here in vain. But Bai Luo had nothing to worry about. Anyway, his current plan was proceeding as usual. When the time comes, I just need to catch up with Mondo and the others. As for these people, it is only a matter of time for Bai Luo to deal with them. While Bai Luo was still thinking about how to deal with these people, they didn't have the patience to waste time with Bai Luo here. This situation was not as smooth as they thought. They left directly after they met each other. After confirming that those people had indeed left, Bai Luo thought about chasing Mondo and the others. But before he took a few steps, he found some blue stones on the ground. After discovering these blue stones, Bai Luo squatted down and picked them up. Why did these things appear here? After all, I found blue stones next to my house at that time, but I didn't expect that these blue stones would appear here again. Then Bai Luo took it in his hand and looked at it, but he soon found that these blue stones were different from the stones he found around the house at that time. Although these stones do look very similar on the surface, these stones are not like the stones he found next to the house last time. After Bai Luo checked these stones, he found that they were just some spiritual stones. There was no poisonous substance on them. On the contrary, there was another spiritual power in the stones. After determining where these stones were, Bai Luo did not think much about it. Anyway, these things should be good things from now on. So Bai Luo picked up all the blue stones on the ground and put them in his bag to take away. Because he felt that these things should not be ordinary things. They might be helpful to them later. He weighed the stones in his bag and couldn't help but smile. Although there were some minor episodes along the way, the progress was still very smooth so far. Now I have to hurry to catch up with Mondo and the others. Although I have given them the map, Bai Luo is still a little worried. After all, they are not far away from the Warcraft Grand Canyon now, and there must be many dangers around them. In addition, Bai Luo is not sure how many people are secretly watching them and want to take action. So after thinking about these things, Bai Luo couldn't help but speed up his pace. Soon they saw the traces left by Mondo and his team on the road. They must be not far ahead. The route here did not deviate at all. They kept going along the road to the Grand Canyon of Warcraft. Looking at the current situation, Bai Luo was actually quite relaxed. After all, nothing serious happened now. They must be able to go to the Grand Canyon of Warcraft soon. When the time comes, he just needs to catch those high-level monsters, and then he can implement his next plan. But when Bai Luo was still thinking about this, he didn't expect Mondo's scream to suddenly come from the front. The sound was not ordinarily loud, and Bai Luo knew that something else must have happened in front. Could it be that there was some danger in front? Because of some things that happened recently, Bai Luo ran directly in that direction. Although everything is going very smoothly now, there is no guarantee that Bai Luo will encounter something else in the future. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. At this time, Bai Luo heard Mondo's howls again on his way there. At the same time, the expression on Bai Luo's face became more and more ugly because it would take some time for him to get there, and now Bai Luo could only worry in vain. So, Bai Luo hurriedly ran in the direction of the sound, but as he walked, he found that something was wrong. Because he found that the touch on his feet was a little strange. Why did the ground suddenly become soft? After feeling this, Bai Luo hurriedly lowered his head to check the situation. Then he found that the ground under his feet had collapsed a little, and he hurriedly wanted to move to another place. After all, this was not a good sign. But when he changed direction and rushed forward, Bai Luo found that the ground was still collapsed. This means that the scope of the collapse is quite large, but Mondo's shouting is still continuing. Bai Luo wanted to continue to move forward, but the road ahead looked really dangerous. Bai Luo didn't know if he would encounter more troubles if he continued like this. Chapter 602, Attracted Magical Beasts. After hesitating for a long time, Bai Luo finally decided to stop. After all, he couldn't put himself in danger now, because the shouts he heard just now meant that Mondo might have encountered a bad situation. If he was trapped inside now, no one would be able to stand up. So Bai Luo quickly retreated and then checked the situation around him. He looked at the sunken ground and found that it was not only sunken, but also had a lot of water. What's going on? Bai Luo frowned and observed every move around him. Obviously, things were going smoothly before. Why did this suddenly happen now? Because he couldn't see it clearly, Bai Luo took a few steps forward. He found that there was indeed some accumulated water in the sunken ground, but Bai Luo didn't know where the water came from. While observing the situation here, Bai Luo actually saw some blue liquid again. Bai Luo hurried over and then tried to study the blue liquid. After all, this thing is not like normal water, which looks a bit strange. Bai Luo dipped his finger in some of the blue liquid and then observed it again. But after observing for a long time, he still got nothing. Maybe the blue stones last time gave him inspiration, so Bai Luo put the blue liquid to his nose and smelled it. But he still didn't get any other clues. At this time, Bai Luo couldn't help but frown, because time passed by, and he was still worried about the safety of Mondo and the others. Now the road ahead is really not easy to walk. So Bai Luo resolutely decided to change direction. He quickly took a detour and followed Mondo shouting. But before the men's football team took a few steps, the shouting suddenly disappeared. This is not a good sign, and Bai Luo is now anxious. He followed his memory and searched carefully here, but he might not find anything. He didn't find any traces left by Mondo and the others here, let alone their traces. Because he was really worried about Mondo and the others, Bai Luo searched here again, but still found nothing. Where did Mondo and the others go? They were not in any danger, but now he could not find them at all. Because he was really worried about their safety, but now Bai Luo was powerless. He sighed deeply and then squatted beside him in frustration. Where would Mondo and the others go? And he didn't know what danger Mondo and the others would encounter. After all, he didn't seem to see any strange places along the way. At the beginning, he had already given them the map, so it stands to reason that there shouldn't be any accidents. Just when Bai Luo was still trying to think about the reason for this matter, Bai Luo found some agate stones on the ground. Bai Luo only found one at first, but later he found that there were many of these agates scattered on the ground. The agate looked very good. Bai Luo took it in his hand and looked at it and then picked it up. So he put it in his bag. Sure enough, after approaching the Warcraft Grand Canyon, there were more good things here. But before Bai Luo picked up a few, he heard a faint chattering sound. The sound was quite subtle, but Bai Luo heard a not very friendly voice behind him. It was a low wheeze of an unknown creature. Bai Luo did not react immediately, but still squatted on the ground in the same position as before. But his hand had silently reached for his weapon. He knew that the thing behind him was definitely not simple. Based on the low wheeze, Bai Luo knew that the size of the thing was definitely not small. The moment Bai Luo got the weapon, he quickly took the weapon and stepped back a few steps. Only then did Bai Luo have time to observe what was behind him. After seeing the scene behind him, Bai Luo couldn't help but breathe a sigh of anger. As expected, what he guessed was right. Just now, behind him, less than half a foot away from him, was a very large white tiger. The white tiger obviously didn't expect Bai Luo's reaction to be so fast, because he was about to succeed. But he didn't expect that the prey that was so close just now suddenly ran away. The white tiger opened its big mouth with some displeasure. Bai Luo carefully observed the big white tiger in front of him, and found that the size of the white tiger was indeed not ordinary. Bai Luo hasn't done anything yet, and the white tiger has already bared its teeth and claws. Sure enough, this place is not far from the monster canyon, and the creatures here look very fierce. Bai Luo is not in the mood to fight with this big white tiger now. Moreover, Bai Luo is not sure what benefit he can get from fighting with this big white tiger, so Bai Luo made a decision quickly. He has to leave this place quickly. Anyway, the purpose of going to the monster canyon this time is not to deal with these things, so Bai Luo took a few steps back with very small movements. But the big white tiger on the other side is not easy to fool. It seems to have noticed Bai Luo's intention, and then it roared directly at Bai Luo. This roar is different from the low roar just now. It is full of warning and aggressiveness. Just when Bai Luo thought that the big white tiger was going to attack him, a strange sound suddenly came from the surroundings. This is the sound of stepping on dead leaves, and the range of this sound is not small. So this also means that a lot of creatures are approaching here. After realizing this, Bai Luo also knew that this matter is definitely not as simple as he thought. Read the error-free version at 69 Shuba. 6 = 9 plus SHU_BAR is the first to publish this novel. Bai Luo thought he had just encountered a white tiger foraging here, but according to the current situation, this white tiger is not simple at all. Following the direction of the sound, Bai Luo looked over there. It would have been fine if he hadn't looked at it, but when he looked at it, Bai Luo couldn't help but be shocked. Because this white tiger is really not simple. His roar directly attracted the group of monsters around. Seeing the monsters rushing here one after another, Bai Luo's expression was not good. After all, monsters are not easy to deal with, and with the white tiger in front of him, Bai Luo also felt that this matter was getting more and more out of his control, but these monsters were surrounding him from all directions. Bai Luo now had no way to leave here immediately, and his plan just now was directly ruined. Later, Bai Luo hurriedly looked at the situation around him and found that things were a little worse than he had imagined. Chapter 603, Friends Who Have Not Caught Up. Because each of these monsters that came over was very large, not inferior to the big white tiger in front of him. It was indeed very close to the monster canyon, and all the monsters here were becoming more and more difficult. Bai Luo couldn't help but look at the weapon in his hand, and then he could only put the weapon on his waist. Because he knew that he couldn't deal with these monsters with the things in his hand. These monsters coming from all directions have surrounded Bai Luo. After that, the big white tiger ordered Bai Luo again, and then the monsters rushed directly towards Bai Luo. It happened that Bai Luo had already made precautions in advance. Although those monsters were huge, Bai Luo had some advantages in body shape. He might not be able to fight against these monsters head on, but it was not difficult for Bai Luo to avoid the attacks of these monsters. Because these monsters were too big, although this was also a symbol of their strength. But inevitably, their movements became slower, and Bai Luo could only rely on his size advantage to try to avoid the attacks of these monsters. But those monsters had no intention of letting Bai Luo go. Although they attacked Bai Luo for a long time without any benefit, they still did not choose to leave. Looking at the current situation, Bai Luo knew that he could not waste time with these things here. Because his physical strength was almost gone, his speed would soon slow down. When the time came, these monsters could also suppress him with their numerical advantage. Then his situation would be even more embarrassing, so Bai Luo quickly changed his mind. Although Bai Luo was still trying to avoid the attacks of these monsters, Bai Luo had a purpose every time he dodged. The direction of his escape was very consistent every time, although it didn't seem to be a big problem. But as long as you look closely, you can find that Bai Luo was moving to the edge. But although those monsters are stronger than some other animals, they are not spiritual animals after all. Their thinking is naturally not as good as that of humans, so they didn't notice this at all. Soon Bai Luo achieved his goal. The number of monsters in his current location had become very small. Bai Luo then directly quickened his pace and left here directly. Some monsters that reacted still chased Bai Luo relentlessly, but fortunately Bai Luo's speed was very fast. Then he shook off the monsters behind him, and after seeing that the monsters had not caught up, Bai Luo slowly stopped. Finally got rid of those things. Although Bai Luo did not fight these monsters head on, he had been dealing with them for so long after all. Bai Luo couldn't help but take a breath, and then frowned and looked at the situation around him. He couldn't tell where he was now. After all, the appearance of those monsters just now really disrupted his plan. The top priority now was to quickly find Mondo and the others, and then meet up with them. But now he didn't find any trace of them, and Bai Luo felt helpless. After all, he knew that the surroundings were definitely not as simple as he thought. He didn't dare to move around casually now. After all, encountering such a situation just now was not good news. If he were to encounter such a big white tiger again, Bai Luo really wouldn't have the energy to deal with him. Bai Luo hesitated for a moment and finally decided to find Mondo and the others in another way. He silently chanted a spell, intending to use the sound transmission secret technique to contact them. But Bai Luo had been using the sound transmission secret technique all the time, but he never got any response. Bai Luo tried again and again, but in the end there was still no progress. What was going on? Because Bai Luo had wasted too much time here. Now that he hadn't found Mondo and the others, Bai Luo couldn't help but get anxious. In the end, he decided to find them himself. Although he might encounter another magical beast, Bai Luo had no other choice. Bai Luo had been looking for them here for about half an hour. Every time he walked a certain distance, he would use his sound transmission secret technique, but he still didn't get any response. Seeing the current situation, Bai Luo couldn't help but sigh. Just when Bai Luo thought that he couldn't find Mondo and the others today, who knew that there was a sudden sound of footsteps in front of him. Bai Luo hurriedly walked in that direction, and then found Mondo and the others walking towards this side. Finally found these people, Bai Luo couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. After all, it took a lot of effort to find them today. It would be great if he could find them. So Bai Luo walked forward, frowned and looked at the people in front of him, and then asked about their situation. How are you here? I walked forward for so long, and didn't find any trace of you. And I have been using the sound transmission secret technique to get in touch with you. Why didn't you respond? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Bai Luo can now roughly determine their location, and he didn't find any dangerous situation. Now everything is very normal, so why didn't Mondo answer his sound transmission secret technique just now? This also made Bai Luo feel very strange. After all, if they could give him an answer in advance, Bai Luo wouldn't have to waste so much time. On the other side, Mondo and the others were also very happy after seeing Bai Luo. Although at the beginning Mondo also let Duotu and the others believe in Bai Luo's strength, thinking that Bai Luo would definitely come back safely. But after walking for a long time, Bai Luo didn't catch up, and Mondo was worried that Bai Luo might have encountered another danger. Now that Bai Luo finally caught up, they were naturally very happy. Just when Mondo wanted to ask Bai Luo what happened, Bai Luo suddenly started talking about the secret art of sound transmission. Mondo was also confused after hearing Bai Luo's words, because he didn't know what the secret art of sound transmission was. He looked at Bai Luo in front of him with some disbelief, and spoke hesitantly. The secret art of sound transmission? What is the secret art of sound transmission? We don't seem to know that there is such a skill, so now we can only return to find you, Brother Bai. As for what the secret art of sound transmission is, we don't know either, so we can't give you an answer. After hearing Mondo's words, Bai Luo couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. But this time the eyebrow raising did not prove that Bai Luo was in a good mood, but he couldn't help but be shocked by Mondo's words. Because this secret art of sound transmission is not a difficult skill to learn. Basically anyone who knows some skills can learn the secret art of sound transmission. Chapter 604, Secret Art of Sound Transmission. But I didn't expect that Mondo and the others didn't even know what the sound transmission secret technique was. This also made Bai Luo feel very shocked. No wonder he couldn't contact Mondo and the others at the beginning. Bai Luo was worried that Mondo and the others had encountered some danger, but he didn't expect that it was just his work that was in vain. Thinking of this, Bai Luo couldn't help but smile miserably. He was indeed not thoughtful enough. Although he taught Mondo and the others some practical skills at the beginning, but these most basic ones were forgotten. Obviously, the most important thing to come to the Warcraft Grand Canyon is not to get separated. But he just didn't consider this point. Although the sound transmission secret technique is simple, but it is indeed very practical, but he just didn't think of this key step. Bai Luo couldn't help but sigh, and then smiled, and shook his head. So that's how it is. I thought you guys were in danger, so you didn't give me a reply. I didn't think it through, but now that we have decided to come to the Grand Canyon of Warcraft, we must learn the secret art of sound transmission. After all, we don't know what other dangers we will encounter. If we get separated, we will need to rely on the secret art of sound transmission to get in touch. When he said this, Bai Luo couldn't help but pursed his lips. He subconsciously looked at the situation around him. Anyway, there should still be enough time, and the secret art of sound transmission must be learned. Otherwise, he would teach them the secret art of sound transmission now. Although the situation is urgent now, you still have to learn the secret art of sound transmission. Otherwise, I will teach you these secret arts of sound transmission now. The secret art of sound transmission is not a very difficult skill, and I believe you should be able to learn it soon. After hearing Bai Luo say so much, Mondo and the others nodded quickly. Because they had actually found a place to stay, they stopped because they were worried about Bai Luo's safety. If they had known the secret art of sound transmission at that time, they might not have wasted so much time. And learning one more skill is definitely a good thing, so they nodded at the same time. After seeing their reactions, Bai Luo directly taught the skills on the spot. But to Bai Luo's surprise, the effect was very poor, and there was no effect at all. Facing such a situation, Bai Luo's expression was not good. Because he didn't think that the secret art of sound transmission was a difficult skill. At least it was much more difficult to learn than the Wrath of Thunder. But he didn't expect that Mondo, who had already mastered the Wrath of Thunder, didn't master the secret art of sound transmission. After repeating the teaching several times, Bai Luo sighed helplessly. Looking at the enemy who made no progress, Bai Luo finally decided to give up. After all, there was not so much time for them to waste now. It would soon be dark, and there were so many monsters around. So they had to find a safe place to stay before dark. So Bai Luo stopped what he was doing, and looked at the situation around him. Since you can't comprehend the secret art of voice transmission now, let's stop here for now. I will continue to teach you the secret art of voice transmission when I have time in the future, but not now. Mondo and the others nodded, because they also knew that the effect of their learning was not very good. Bai Luo looked a little nervous, because time was passing by, and they had to find a safe place next. Then let's get up, and find a place to hide. When I came to find you earlier, I encountered some monsters on the road. I think there may be many potential dangers around. So we must find a safe place to stay now. It's getting late, let's act quickly. Just when Bai Luo was about to take Mondo and the others to find a hiding place, unexpectedly, Mondo, who was just listless, suddenly stood up and walked directly in front of Bai Luo. There is no need to look for a place to stay. We have already found a relatively safe place in front of us. We have already put some luggage in it. Now we can just go there directly. Bai Luo did not expect that Mondo and his friends had already found a place to stay. And it seems to be quite good to hear Mondo and his friends say so. It can also save Bai Luo and his friends a lot of time. After all, it is not a wise move to move around when it is almost dark. It should still be in time to go directly to the place where Mondo and his friends said to stay, so Bai Luo nodded quickly. That's great. In this case, let's set off quickly and don't need to look for another place. But we still have to hurry up. After all, it is not early now. We have to find a safe place to stay. Mondo nodded. He naturally knew the reason. Then Mondo did not dare to waste time and then took Bai Luo and his friends to the place where they stayed. It was indeed not far away from here, and they arrived at their destination not long after walking. It turns out that the safe place that Mondo and the others mentioned is a cave. However, this place does look quite secluded, so Bai Luo thinks that it is indeed a good choice to settle here. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Bai Luo nodded with satisfaction and then followed Mondo and the others into the cave. Everyone didn't think much about it. After entering the cave, they went to find a place to rest. After all, everyone was very tired after running around all day. Bai Luo could still understand them. After all, Mondo and the others had already arrived at this place in advance. But this was Bai Luo's first time here, and he subconsciously wanted to check the situation in the cave. Mondo and the others had already sat down to rest, but Bai Luo on the other side couldn't let go of his worries so quickly. If it were in the past, Bai Luo might not have worried about so many things. But now it's different. They have come to the Warcraft Grand Canyon. If you are not careful, you may lose your life. There are countless potential dangers nearby. So Bai Luo stood up and checked the situation in the cave. However, Bai Luo walked around in the cave and found that there was indeed nothing else in the cave. Just when Bai Luo thought that the cave was indeed very safe, he suddenly shuddered. Chapter 605. Weird Environment. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly a gust of cold wind blew. Bai Luo frowned, and then he smelled a hint of another breath in the air. Soon he realized that something was wrong, because he found a very strong soul power in this breath. In fact, this is not difficult to detect, but Bai Luo did not think in this direction before, so he did not realize it. Then Bai Luo slowly closed his eyes and used his spiritual power to feel what was going on around him. Then he saw another world, and the soul power around him was too strong. After seeing this situation, Bai Luo also knew that this place could not go on like this. Although this cave exists in a relatively hidden place, it is more dangerous to stay here than outside. Although he doesn't know what will happen next, Bai Luo knows that the most important thing now is to leave here quickly. After considering this, Bai Luo looked directly at Mondo and the others on the other side. He didn't think much about it, and then walked directly to their side. Everyone hurry up, there is something wrong in this cave. We have to leave here quickly. If we continue to stay here, it may be more dangerous, so everyone hurry up. But who knew that after Bai Luo finished speaking, Mondo and the others who were sitting on the ground did not react at all. Bai Luo quickly squatted down to check on them, and then found that Mondo and the others' eyes were very empty. Bai Luo tried to wake them up, but it didn't work. What's going on? Is it because of the soul power in this cave? Then Bai Luo tried a few more times, but still no effect. Bai Luo also knew that this matter was completely beyond his expectations, so what should he do now? He used all the methods he could think of, but failed to wake Mondo and the others. But if he continued to stay here, it would only be more dangerous. He looked around anxiously. Although it seemed that nothing else appeared now, he couldn't guarantee what would happen next. Since Mondo and the others became like this, because of the soul power in this cave, if he could prevent these people from being bewitched by this soul power, he must quickly let Mondo and the others escape from this place. But now Mondo and the others can no longer move. After considering this, Bai Luo reacted quickly. He hesitated for a moment, and finally closed his eyes, and used his spiritual power. Then he used his spiritual power to form a barrier for everyone. Now Bai Luo has separated the world here from the world in the cave. Presumably, this can also alleviate Mondo's symptoms. As for what will happen later, Bai Luo can only take it one step at a time. Because he can't anticipate what will happen later, Bai Luo will stay here with everyone. Although he has no other reaction now, it is not certain that there will be other situations in the cave later. But Bai Luo didn't let his heart go, because he knew that this protective shield could only protect them for a while. If there were other accidents later, it might be that this protective shield would be useless. But Bai Luo didn't dare to act rashly now. Although he knew that there was something strange in the cave, now that the plan had changed, he couldn't continue his next plan. Time passed by minute, and Bai Luo didn't dare to let down his vigilance. He was always observing every move around him. Just when Bai Luo thought that he could spend the night peacefully, he didn't expect another situation to happen. In the middle of the night, Bai Luo, who was already drowsy, was suddenly awakened by a scream. Then Bai Luo hurriedly pulled himself together, but in such an environment, Bai Luo couldn't rest. Because that kind of sound was very creepy, and the cave was pitch black. Bai Luo couldn't help but get goosebumps after seeing the situation in front of him. He didn't know what would happen next, but he knew that someone must be behind this. After all, from the beginning, there was someone behind everything silently pushing it, but Bai Luo had never had the opportunity to find that person. Now all of this seems too coincidental. He doesn't think that so many accidents will happen at once, and they all appear at the same time. Could it be that the person followed him? Thinking of this, the expression on Bai Luo's face became even uglier, because his current situation is indeed very bad. In addition, Mondo and the others beside him showed no signs of waking up. If someone took advantage of the situation at this time, Bai Luo didn't know if he could survive. But now he had no other choice. He could only take one step at a time. However, after waiting for a long time, Bai Luo didn't see that person make any other moves. However, the screams in the air have always existed, and they are still coming one after another. Bai Luo couldn't tell where the screams came from. It seemed to be coming from all directions. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Bai Luo still insisted on calming himself down. Since the person hiding in the dark didn't plan to take action first, then Bai Luo couldn't lose his composure first. He wanted to see what that person was going to do. It might be a good thing for him. If he could find out the person behind the scenes this time, then it might be possible that all the things that happened before could give him an explanation. So Bai Luo felt that he was really getting closer to the truth. The screams were constantly coming from the darkness, but Bai Luo was not affected at all, just looking forward with a firm look. Bai Luo was extremely nervous now, because he knew someone would come soon. As expected, Bai Luo heard a burst of very hurried footsteps after a while, but when he heard the footsteps, Bai Luo realized that this matter was not as he thought, because the footsteps did not sound like human. Although Bai Luo could hear the footsteps now, because the environment here was too dim, Bai Luo could not see the figure of the thing. He could only guess, based on the footsteps. The footsteps were getting closer and closer, but Mondo and the others on the side did not seem to be waking up. Although Bai Luo had already made a barrier, he knew that this would not last long. And if they kept hiding in this barrier, it would be too passive. As long as the barrier was broken, they would have to face danger. Chapter 606, Distributing Magic Cores. Now Bai Luo seemed to be trapped in a dilemma. Just when he was still thinking about what to do next, he didn't expect that Mondo and the others suddenly woke up. At the beginning, Mondo and the others had very confused eyes, and they couldn't see any spirit at all. Now these people's eyes became clear in an instant, and Mondo finally saw Bai Luo in front of him clearly, and then he spoke directly. Brother Bai, what happened to us? I was unconscious just now. What's the situation now? How did we suddenly move to this place? Because he lost consciousness for too long before, Mondo had a lot of doubts for a while. But Bai Luo didn't have time to explain too much to Mondo now because the footsteps were getting closer and closer. Bai Luo glanced at Mondo on the side and then he directly drew the sword at his waist and stood in front of these people. Be careful, there was something wrong with us just now. Now there is something approaching us in front, but we can't be sure what it is now. Bai Luo took the initiative to erase the barrier he had set up in front of him because he knew that some things could not be escaped. After the barrier was gone, Bai Luo saw a very large black figure in front of them. The black guy also saw Bai Luo standing in front, and he was not polite at all. After seeing Bai Luo, he opened his bloody mouth. Did this guy want to swallow them in one bite? Just when Bai Luo wanted to take out his sword to fight against the black guy in front of him, Mondo and Duo on the other side took action in advance. The two of them had been watching the situation here. After seeing that Bai Luo was in danger, they looked at each other and summoned the Thunder Fury together in tacit understanding. They directly used the Thunder Fury to attack the black guy in front of them, and the effect was very obvious. The Thunder Force was directly summoned by them and then hit the black guy. The black guy obviously didn't react to being hit several times this year, so he kept retreating. On the other side, Bai Luo didn't expect that Mondo and Duo would start fighting first. Bai Luo was worried about their safety before, but now it seems that he doesn't need to worry about this matter. Because Mondo and Duo's strength has been significantly improved now, at least there should be no big problem in self-protection. Bai Luo watched them use Thunder Fury to deal with the black guy in front of them and saw that the black guy was repelled step by them. Then Mondo and Duo directly knocked the black guy to the ground together, and Bai Luo also heard a few whimpering sounds. But Bai Luo didn't think much about it and finally picked up his sword again. After all, Bai Luo is not a good person. If they want to stay here, they must quickly solve the black thing. So Bai Luo took his sword and wanted to solve the thing in front of him. Stay here and don't move. I'll go get rid of that black guy first. I want to see what this black guy is. Bai Luo approached step by step. As the distance shortened, although the light in the cave was very dim, Bai Luo could see the origin of the black guy in front of him. He couldn't see it clearly from a distance before, but now that he got closer, Bai Luo couldn't help but take a deep breath. He didn't expect that this black guy was actually a black bear, which was a mid-level magic beast. In fact, Bai Luo had thought about this before. If he encountered a high-level magic beast directly in this cave, his plan would be achieved directly. But he didn't expect that it was still a little short. This black bear was just a mid-level magic beast, so it was not of much help to Bai Luo. But since this mid-level magic beast came to his door, Bai Luo had no reason not to accept it. And after all, they were all mid-level magic beasts. As long as his magic core was taken away, the thing would naturally be very good. But it was still a little inferior to the high-level magic beasts. After considering this, Bai Luo did not hesitate to deal with the black bear in front of him. Because the black bear had been taught a lesson by Mondo and Duo too, and was also injured, it was no match for Bai Luo. After finishing the black bear, the magic core in his body was directly revealed. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Bai Luo did not think much about it, and then picked up the magic core directly. He did not need this thing. After all, it was not of much help to him now. After seeing the magic core, Bai Luo thought of Mondo first. After all, Mondo's skills had improved very quickly during this period. If he could get the help of this magic core, he might be able to reach a high level. So Bai Luo turned around and handed the magic core to Mondo on the side, and then explained to Mondo, "Mondo, this is the magic core from the black bear just now. Although it is not a very precious thing, it is a very good supplement for people like us who practice. Your strength has improved greatly recently. If you quickly refine this magic core, you can improve your strength again." Mondo looked at the things Bai Luo handed over, and then listened to what Bai Luo said. After all, the most important thing for Mondo now is to quickly improve his strength, and his strength has indeed improved a lot during this period. The process of constantly getting stronger really makes people feel very good. Mondo was very excited after hearing Bai Luo's words. He looked at the glowing magic core in Bai Luo's hand in disbelief, and then looked at Bai Luo in front of him tentatively, and said with great surprise, "Brother Bai, are you really going to give me this magic core? I really don't dare to believe it." Bai Luo smiled. In fact, this magic core was not a very precious thing for him. He gave this magic core to Mundo now, just because he felt that this magic core was very suitable for Mundo now, so Bai Luo nodded. "Isn't what I said just now very clear? As long as you refine this magic core now, your strength will be improved soon. But it also depends on your own luck. You are lucky. After all, I got the magic core of this mid-level monster at this point in time. It just happens to be a good deal for you, kid. As long as you seize this opportunity, you will definitely have unexpected gains in the future." Bai Luo has said it so affirmatively, so Mondo naturally believes it very much. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 607, The Interior of the Cave. That would be great. If my strength is really improved, I can use the Thunder Fury more freely. After the last improvement, I felt that the power in my body was getting more and more abundant. This feeling is really great. Bai Luo nodded. After all, as long as Mondo and the others are willing to learn, Bai Luo still likes to see them getting better and better. But just when Bai Luo was about to let Mondo start refining the magic core, he found that the expressions on the faces of several people on the other side seemed a little abnormal. Although that feeling was fleeting, Bai Luo's mind was still very sharp, and he reacted quickly. After all, Mondo's strength is improving step by step now, and he naturally knows that Yifeng and the others are not petty people. But when he got the magic core just now, he directly decided to give it to Mondo, who was standing next to him, and didn't mention the others. Bai Luo only realized now that what he did was indeed a bit inappropriate. Now he gave this magic core to Mondo just because Mondo is the most suitable person for him now, and he didn't have any unnecessary thoughts. He was not afraid of others doubting him. After all, he could confidently say that he was not partial to anyone, and he just made the most efficient choice. But Bai Luo still had to consider the thoughts of others, and as long as he got another magic core later, he would definitely share it with other people. Although these magic cores were indeed a little worse than the high-level magic cores, they were still very useful for everyone. So Bai Luo coughed a few times, and then made a promise. "Don't worry, everyone. We have come to the Warcraft Grand Canyon now. I believe we can get more magic cores later. I will also share these magic cores with everyone. Everyone needs them, so you don't have to think too much." After saying this, Bai Luo paused for a moment. He looked at the magic core in Mondo's hand, and then said to Duoto and the others, "Time is tight now, so we shouldn't waste time here. We have to let Mondo refine this magic core quickly. Let's protect Mondo on the side. Don't let these dirty things around disturb Mondo's practice." Okay. Half a cup of tea later, Bai Luo has been observing Mondo's situation. After all, it was the first time for Mondo to digest the magic core of this monster, and Bai Luo was afraid that something might happen. Fortunately, through observation, Bai Luo did not find anything abnormal. On the contrary, Mondo's condition was quite good, and he did not seem to be uncomfortable at all. Bai Luo was a little relieved at this time, thinking that Mondo could still control the magic core, which also gave him confidence. Maybe everyone could do it. After observing for a while, Bai Luo found that Mondo not only did not have any discomfort, but also looked very good. "Mondo, do you feel anything wrong?" Bai Luo was now certain in his heart that Mondo was still quite adaptable, but he still asked this question. After all, Mondo himself was the one who could most intuitively feel his situation. Bai Luo was afraid that there would be something wrong with what he observed, so he decided to ask Mondo. If there was really a problem, he could find it first. Hearing Bai Luo asking him, Mondo quickly answered, "Brother Bai, there is nothing wrong. I feel pretty good." Mondo answered truthfully, feeling that he was full of strength and did not feel any discomfort. "That's good. He looks pretty good." get used to it, and seize this opportunity. Bai Luo was sure that Mondo had indeed adapted well. After telling Mondo to adapt well, Bai Luo felt relieved and let Mondo concentrate on his own things. Bai Luo would not bother him here anymore. Coming to the side, Bai Luo wanted to observe the surrounding environment to avoid any danger. Before Bai Luo could observe too much, he found that there was inexplicable snow on the ground here. There was no snow just now, so how could it suddenly appear? What's going on? Bai Luo was very confused. He couldn't figure out why such a situation suddenly appeared, and he didn't know what was going on with the snow. Looking at the direction of the snow spreading, Bai Luo knew that, if he wanted to figure out what was going on, he might need to go deeper to figure it out. He turned his head and looked in the direction of Mondo and observed that Mondo might be over soon. At that time, he would take everyone to go deeper and explore what was going on. If he didn't figure out what was going on, Bai Luo couldn't let it go. He was really confused about how such a thing could happen. When Bai Luo was confused, Mondo had finished. Seeing Bai Luo frowning and wondering what he was thinking, he hurried over to ask. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Brother Bai, what are you thinking about? Did something happen? Bai Luo was interrupted by the sudden voice. Seeing that Mondo had finished, he couldn't wait to take everyone to go deeper and check the situation. Look here, there is so much inexplicable snow suddenly. I think something is wrong. Tell everyone to follow me to go deeper. Let's go to check the situation. Bai Luo pointed out the situation he saw to Mondo and asked Mondo to tell everyone to follow him to go deeper. Mondo saw the situation Bai Luo said according to the direction Bai Luo pointed and began to frown and think. Soon he felt that what Bai Luo said made sense and turned around to tell everyone. Everyone get ready, let's follow Brother Bai to go deeper and check the situation ahead. Mondo turned around and gave the order, and everyone followed Bai Luo to go deeper. The group moved forward cautiously, and Bai Luo was even more alert, fearing that he would not be able to react to any sudden situation. Fortunately, they did not find any abnormal situation or any danger as they went deeper, which made Bai Luo feel a little relieved. After walking for a while, Bai Luo found that they were already inside the cave, but they had not found any abnormal situation. Everyone be careful, the situation here is unclear, and we don't know if there will be any danger. Bai Luo observed the situation around him. Although there was no danger, he was still worried. Everyone was exploring around. The cave was not dark, and only the torches they brought could illuminate the faint light. Brother Bai, look, what is that? One of them saw that there seemed to be a door in front, but he was not sure. He pointed to Bai Luo and the others in the place he saw, wanting everyone to help him verify it, not knowing whether what he saw was true. Hearing this voice, Bai Luo hurriedly looked in the direction he said and found that there was indeed something wrong. Chapter 608, The Interior of the Cave, Part 2. Is that a wooden door? Mondo also saw it. He also thought it was a wooden door, but he couldn't see it clearly and was not sure. Bai Luo also thought it was a wooden door, so he moved carefully and prepared to get closer to take a look. Everyone follow, be careful. Bai Luo walked in front and told everyone to be careful. Then he slowly approached the wooden door and prepared to open it to see what was inside. After approaching the wooden door, Bai Luo was not so nervous. There was nothing around, so it shouldn't be a particularly dangerous place. Bai Luo felt that he might be too cautious. After confirming that there was no danger around, Bai Luo carefully opened the wooden door in front of him. Everyone also looked inside the wooden door vigilantly, fearing that there would be danger. After the wooden door slowly opened, the first people who saw the situation inside were stunned. Seeing everyone's reaction, Bai Luo didn't know what shocked them and quickly turned his head to look inside the wooden door. With the same expression as everyone else, Bai Luo was also stunned. Bai Luo couldn't believe it. How could there be so many precious treasures here? Are they so lucky? They found so many precious treasures easily. Brother Bai, it's treasure. Mondo was also shocked. He didn't expect to find so many precious treasures here. He rushed in without saying a word. Although he was very excited to see these treasures, Bai Luo was also excited, but Bai Luo did not relax his vigilance. He felt that things must not be that simple. Mondo, be careful. Seeing that Mondo had already rushed in, Bai Luo reminded Mondo to be careful, and then everyone rushed in. Since they had already found it, it would be better to let everyone go in. Bai Luo followed in, and did not forget to tell everyone his thoughts. Everyone should be careful. There are so many precious treasures here. It must be wrong. Maybe someone hid these things. I don't think there are so many treasures here for no reason. Someone must have hidden them. It's better for everyone to be careful. Bai Luo expressed his thoughts. He was worried that something would happen suddenly. Everyone would be attracted by the treasures and would not react in time. Brother Bai, but there are so many treasures. Mondo's heart and eyes are now full of these treasures. Hush, don't make a sound. Bai Luo interrupted what Nangduo wanted to say and made a gesture to silence everyone. Hearing Bai Luo say this and seeing Bai Luo's actions, everyone stopped talking and stopped moving, wanting to hear if Bai Luo had discovered something. Bai Luo felt it in a quiet environment and became more certain of his perception just now, as if he sensed that someone was approaching them. Someone is approaching us, which means that my previous thought should be correct. The treasures here must not appear here for no reason. Someone must have hidden them. Bai Luo explained to everyone why he didn't let them make a sound. These people approaching us should be the ones who hid these treasures. If I'm not mistaken, it should be like this. Bai Luo analyzed it and felt that he was definitely not wrong. Hearing Bai Luo say this, everyone also realized the seriousness of the matter. If this was really the case, they were now here. Whether they touched the treasures or not, they were no longer safe. Then what should we do, Brother Bai? One of them asked Bai Luo. In this situation, they didn't know what to do. Bai Luo thought about it and felt that he should first confirm whether there was really someone approaching. If there was really someone approaching here, it would be better not to let them find out if possible. Well, there is a place outside the wooden door where we can hide. Everyone be careful and hide quickly. I will first confirm whether there is really someone approaching us. As he said that, Bai Luo led everyone to the place he said and asked everyone to hide. Bai Luo began to observe the situation he sensed, wondering if there was really someone coming. After observation, Bai Luo found that there were really people coming here, and they were really a group of people, which meant that his guess was correct. These precious treasures must have been hidden by them. Everyone listen, you must be careful. I just observed that there were indeed people coming here, and they were really a group of people. It means that my guess just now was correct. These people should be the ones who hid these treasures. Everyone must be careful and not be discovered by them. In this situation, it is better not to be discovered by them, otherwise it will definitely cause conflicts. Moreover, although they did nothing, they appeared here, which was already unclear, and they didn't know how to make the other party believe it. Since this is the case, it is better not to let the other party find them. In this way, there is no need to explain, and no need to have conflicts. Bai Luo thinks this is the best way. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. When everyone heard Bai Luo say this, they also understood what Bai Luo meant. They all nodded and agreed, holding their breath and concentrating, not letting the other party find them. Soon, everyone felt someone approaching, and believed Bai Luo's words even more. It is indeed the safest to hide here now. The breath they felt was getting closer and closer, and others could also feel that it was indeed a group of people approaching them. Everyone be careful, it is indeed a group of people. Mondo reminded everyone again. He also discovered this situation and understood why Bai Luo was so nervous. Just after Mondo finished instructing everyone, suddenly, everyone felt that a strong wind wave blew, catching them off guard, and almost everyone was affected. What's going on? Bai Luo also realized that this strong wind wave was not simple, but he didn't have time to react. The wind wave was too fast and had affected all of them. Realizing that everyone had been affected, Bai Luo felt something was not right and quickly asked everyone to check, wondering if anyone was seriously injured. Quick, check everyone's condition. Bai Luo asked everyone to check on each other, and he also began to check on everyone, now not caring whether he would be discovered. Mondo was also affected, but compared to the others, he could still hold on, and also began to check on others. Brother Bai, no, the airwave just now was too strong. The situation is not optimistic. Everyone is seriously injured. Mondo reported to Bai Luo with all his strength, not knowing if he was also seriously injured. Bai Luo also discovered that the consequences of the airwave just now were indeed not optimistic, but now he still didn't know whether the airwave came from that group of people. Brother Bai, what's going on? Did those people discover us? Chapter 609, The Interior of the Cave, Part 3. Mondo also had such doubts. After all, apart from this possibility, there was no other possibility. I don't know if it is, but I think it should be. Now there is only this possibility, and there is no one else here. Bai Luo felt that what Mondo said made sense, and it was consistent with his previous thoughts. Mondo also had such doubts. Now that he heard that Bai Luo also felt the same way, he believed that their doubts might be true. No hurry, I'll test it out to see if it's true. Bai Luo was not sure what was going on with their current situation, and didn't know if those people had really discovered them. But, Brother Bai, Mondo wanted to say that such a test was very dangerous. Before he finished speaking, he thought of Bai Luo's character, and didn't say anything more. After all, apart from Bai Luo, no one among them could test that group of people. Now they could only rely on Bai Luo. Mondo said no more, and waited for the result. Bai Luo quietly released his energy, which was very small, so small that it could almost be ignored. He did this on purpose. It was agreed that it was a test, so he didn't use his powerful energy, but only used such negligible energy to test the other party. If they have already discovered them, then even if the energy is very small, the other party can still discover them. If they have not discovered them, such a small energy can be almost ignored and no one will pay attention to it. After releasing his extremely small energy, Bai Luo immediately opened the protective shield to resist. He didn't know whether the other party had discovered them, nor did he know whether the other party would start to fight back after discovering his tiny energy. He could only open the protective shield first to prevent it from happening. Everyone, don't move around, hide in the protective shield, and wait for my orders. Bai Luo reminded everyone not to move around. In this situation, it is better to be careful. Everyone also knew the seriousness of the matter. After Bai Luo said so, no one moved around, and waited in the protective shield. Soon, Bai Luo's test had a result. Waves of airwaves rushed over. Bai Luo found that these airwaves were really getting stronger and stronger. The intensity of the airwaves began to increase, and Bai Luo was sure that it seemed that the other party had really discovered them. Bai Luo had no choice but to make a decision quickly, even if he didn't want to leave. It was unknown how long the protective shield could last. Everyone be careful, that group of people should have discovered us. Be careful. This wave of air is stronger than the last one. Don't get hurt. Bai Luo reminded everyone. He was basically sure that these people had indeed discovered them, and for now, the protective shield could still protect them. But Bai Luo didn't know how long the protective shield could last, and whether it would not last long, and they would be in danger. Faced with such a situation, everyone naturally knew what to do, and knew that they couldn't act rashly under such circumstances. They all obeyed Bai Luo's instructions, and hid in the protective shield. What should we do next, Brother Bai? Mondo and Bai Luo thought of the same thing. Mondo also knew that in this situation, waiting by himself was tantamount to waiting for those people to come and deal with them. Facts have proved that they can't continue to wait here. This is not a safe place. This wave of air is so strong. If people really come, we don't know how strong it will be. I guess we can't resist it. Mondo has realized this problem. Not only Mondo, Bai Luo also realized this problem. He didn't know how long the protective shield could last, and now he couldn't let everyone wait here any longer. I've thought of this problem too. We definitely can't keep waiting here. Those people must be very strong. Bai Luo said, looking at the cave, that didn't know where the end was, and he didn't know if there was an end. Let's keep going in. Whether there is an end or not, it's better than waiting here. In the end, Bai Luo still made up his mind to lead everyone to keep going in. He thought about it for a long time and knew that this might be dangerous. They were not familiar with this cave, and they didn't know if they could get out if they went deeper. But even so, he would rather give it a try. Maybe they could find the exit if they tried. If they didn't try, they could only fight to the death with those mysterious people. Bai Luo understood the interests involved. Mondo agreed with Bai Luo's idea and thought that this method was the best method at the moment, so he quickly told everyone to get ready and follow Bai Luo to go deeper. Everyone, be alert. Follow Brother Bai and go deeper. It's very dangerous here. We shouldn't stay here for long. Let's set off immediately. Mondo nodded and turned around to tell everyone the news. He knew that time was running out and there was no time to waste. A group of people began to follow Bai Luo and go deeper. Although they didn't know what the situation was ahead, it was too dangerous here now. They all knew that they shouldn't stay here for long. Brother Bai, is there light ahead? After walking for an unknown amount of time, a group of people were cautious, looking ahead to see if they could find an exit, while being alert to whether someone would catch up with them. Fortunately, not long after, one of them found that there seemed to be light ahead, but he didn't know if what he saw was real, so he could only ask Bai Luo this way. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Hearing this person say this, the others also looked over. Soon, everyone saw the light he was talking about, and suddenly found that it seemed to be real. It really is. Is that the exit? Go and have a look. We can get out. Everyone started to get excited. After all, the cave was so dark, and a group of people walking in the cave could be in danger at any time, so they were still very worried. Now seeing the light, it was like seeing hope. I just hope they can get out as soon as possible, so that they can be safe. After confirmation, Bai Luo also found that there was indeed a little light ahead, and hurriedly led everyone to it. It really is the exit. We are out. Bai Luo was also very excited. He didn't expect them to find the exit and walk out of the cave so quickly. Finally, they successfully left the cave. The group of people were also worried and tired for so long. Now they finally got out. Bai Luo knew that they should have a good rest. Since we are out, it should be safe for the time being. Let's find a more secluded place and rest for a while. Although it was safe for the time being, Bai Luo was not sure. After all, he didn't know the situation here. He didn't know if those people would chase them out. But seeing that they were tired for so long, Bai Luo felt that everyone should have a good rest. To be safe, he still took everyone to find a place that looked more secluded. This is a good location. There shouldn't be any danger. Let's take a rest here. We'll set off later. Chapter 610. Entering the Heartland. Bai Luo also sat on the ground, ready to take a break. Mondo came over and showed Bai Luo the treasure he got in the cave, and he was very mysterious. You are really quick. I didn't even know you took this thing. Bai Luo was only concerned with observing the situation around him at the time, afraid that those people would suddenly rush over and hurt everyone, and didn't pay attention to what Mondo and the others did. Seeing Mondo's actions, the others also took out the treasures they got. Although there were not many, almost everyone had a few, except Bai Luo. Brother Bai, we all took some, except you, haha. One of them felt very happy when he said this. After all, this was a precious treasure, and it was already very good for them to get some. Don't mention it. If I had known that they would be chased, I should have taken more treasures, and I only took so little. Mondo still felt a little regretful, thinking that he took too little. Yes, I should have taken more if I had known. The others also agreed, feeling that they were at a disadvantage this time, and they shouldn't have taken only so little, and they should have taken more if they had known. Bai Luo ruthlessly exposed them. We still have to take some more. It's good enough that we didn't die in there. Have you forgotten how dangerous the situation was just now? Bai Luo didn't forget the situation just now. If they weren't lucky, how could they get out now? No, don't you feel a little bit at a loss? There are so many treasures, but we only brought out so little. Mondo didn't forget how dangerous the situation was just now, but now that he was safe, he still felt a little bit at a loss. Bai Luo could understand their feelings. After all, with so many treasures in front of them, but they couldn't take them away, everyone would feel a little bit at a loss. It's okay, as long as everyone is safe now, it's the best. Bai Luo still comforted everyone like this. For him, the best news now is that everyone is okay. They have been resting for a while. Seeing that everyone is fine, Bai Luo decided to continue moving forward and prepared to lead everyone to move forward. Okay, since everyone is fine, let's move forward. Bai Luo took the lead and everyone followed behind him and continued to move forward. Brother Bai, how long will it take us to reach the heart of the Grand Canyon of Warcraft? Mondo remembered that their goal this time was the heart of the Grand Canyon of Warcraft, and he didn't know how far it was to get there, so he asked Bai Luo, thinking that Bai Luo should know, right? Hearing Mondo's question, Bai Luo looked around and calculated, thinking that if he guessed correctly, he should be there soon. If I guessed correctly, it should be not far ahead. He was not guessing, but he could tell from the terrain that he would be there soon. Mondo knew it in his heart, but he felt that he was about to reach the heart of the Grand Canyon of Warcraft, and he was quite excited and nervous. Sure enough, not long after Bai Luo said it, they arrived at the heart of the Grand Canyon of Warcraft. This is the heart of the Grand Canyon of Warcraft. Bai Luo explained the situation to everyone, looked around, and confirmed that there were no Warcraft nearby at the moment. Then he retracted his gaze and continued to explain the situation here to everyone. This is the heart of the Monster Canyon. As the name suggests, there are many monsters here. Everyone must be extra careful and must not be attacked by those monsters. If there is any danger, you must speak up as soon as possible. Bai Luo was worried that everyone would be in danger, so he told everyone the situation here and emphasized that everyone must pay attention to danger. Since Bai Luo has already said this, everyone can also realize the situation here and know what to do. But as soon as Bai Luo finished speaking, he heard a roar, and Bai Luo quickly became alert. What's going on? What's this sound? Are there monsters? One of them immediately became nervous when he heard this sound, wondering if there were monsters. Bai Luo and Mondo were alert to the situation around them, and suddenly a group of black crows rushed out and surrounded them at lightning speed. Brother Bai, we are surrounded. Bai Luo prepared a fighting posture, worried that the crows surrounding them would suddenly attack and catch them off guard. The current situation is not good for them. Now they are surrounded, and they don't know if they will be attacked. Mondo is worried about the situation of others. Bai Luo, who heard Mondo say this, was still observing these black crows, and I don't know what he was thinking. After some observation, Bai Luo determined that these black crows were low-level monsters and were not that difficult to deal with, so he prepared to take everyone away quickly. Listen to me, according to my judgment, these crows are all low-level monsters. We can still deal with them, but we won't deal with them. Everyone follow me, and we will sneak away. The error-free version is available at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. After Bai Luo gave everyone instructions, he immediately began to prepare to leave here. He observed the situation of these black crows and soon discovered their patterns. Based on the observed situation, Bai Luo found a flaw and took everyone to sneak away surrounded by black crows. After sneaking away, Bai Luo did not stop. He knew that this place was not safe. Moreover, he had just encountered those black crows, so it was not appropriate to stay here for a long time. Bai Luo originally wanted to take everyone away and explain the reason to everyone, but this behavior made other friends not understand why Bai Luo did this. As soon as he slipped out, Bai Luo was ready to continue running, but other friends stopped and looked at Bai Luo with frowns. One of them spoke first and asked what he wanted to ask. Brother Bai, why do we have to run away? Aren't those the lowest level monsters? Logically speaking, shouldn't we be able to deal with them? Although they couldn't judge whether those monsters were low level monsters, since Bai Luo said so, they also knew that they were low level monsters, and they had even more doubts. If they were low level monsters, why did Bai Luo insist on taking them away? They were able to deal with these low level monsters, and there were so many of them, so there was no need to run away. Bai Luo's decision made everyone very confused, and everyone wanted to hear how Bai Luo explained it. Hearing this friend ask this question, and seeing everyone's reactions, Bai Luo realized that, if he didn't explain it clearly, they probably wouldn't leave here with him. Since they were curious, Bai Luo wouldn't hide it from them. He was originally planning to explain it to them after leaving, so now he was just explaining it in advance. It's not that we are afraid of them. They are indeed low-level monsters. But what you don't know is that if we deal with those low-level monsters like this, it is very likely to attract higher-level monsters. Wouldn't that be very dangerous? Bai Luo told everyone the specific reasons, just hoping that everyone would believe in him, follow him and leave here quickly. Chapter 611 Demonic Lion. He was worried that, if they didn't leave here, they would attract bigger monsters, and they might not be able to deal with them. After listening to Bai Luo's explanation, his friends understood what was going on, and why he was so anxious to take everyone away. It's not that I don't want to tell you, but I want to take you away first and then explain. It's too dangerous here. Since you are curious, it's okay to tell you now. So that's what happened. If that's the case, let's leave here quickly, Brother Bai. The friends understood what was going on, and didn't want to delay for a moment, just want to leave here quickly. Everyone understood and was ready to follow Bai Luo to leave, but unexpectedly, it was too late. Just as everyone was about to leave, some flames suddenly rushed out and instantly knocked everyone to the ground. Everyone be careful. Encountering such a situation, Bai Luo was the first to react, and quickly got up, and was alert to the situation around him. Everyone, get up quickly, check if anyone is injured. Bai Luo was alert to the situation around him, while directing everyone to check if anyone was injured. The situation just now happened suddenly, Bai Luo didn't react, and I think everyone didn't react either. Just because Bai Luo was not injured, doesn't mean that others were not injured. After checking, Mondo reported the situation to Bai Luo. Brother Bai, don't worry, no one is injured, just fell down, it's okay. Mondo also knew that something was wrong, and quickly checked everyone's situation, confirming that no one was seriously injured, just some minor bumps. After all, everyone was knocked to the ground just now, and some minor bumps were inevitable. In such a situation, those were not considered injuries. Hearing Mondo say this, Bai Luo was relieved. As long as he was not injured, it would be fine. Now he can concentrate on finding the source of the flame. Since it was a flame, it meant that a monster must have discovered them. I don't know if these black crows attracted a higher level monster. Bai Luo was also quite nervous. Alert to the situation around him, Bai Luo looked around, looking for the source of the flame just now, and soon he found a group of magic lions, and those magic lions were also staring at them. After finding the magic lions, Bai Luo did not show excitement immediately. He knew that they could not make any overly violent moves now, otherwise it would definitely arouse the fighting spirit of the magic lions. Bai Luo confirmed again that there were no other magic beasts here, except these magic lions, so he turned around, and stared at these magic lions intently, and gently reminded his friends behind him. Everyone, be quiet and careful. There is a group of magic lions right in front of us. Don't make any big moves. Bai Luo reminded everyone, and then began to slowly retreat. The friends were still immersed in the emotion of how the flames just now could be so powerful. Suddenly, when they heard Bai Luo say this, they all looked up and saw the magic lions that Bai Luo was talking about. Brother Bai, is this a magic lion? Mondo did not expect to see a magic lion here. You know, the magic lion is very powerful. Aren't they in even more danger now? Bai Luo nodded and was staring at the magic lions thinking about something. He was very confused. Logically speaking, such high-level magic beasts should not appear here. Magic lions are high-level magic beasts. How could they appear here? He has already reminded everyone to stay alert and not to make any big moves for the time being, let alone attack the magic lion. They are obviously no match for the magic lion. Everyone is staring at the magic lion while being nervous. They are curious about what the magic lion looks like. They also want to take a closer look at the magic lion. Brother Bai, aren't we going to deal with him? Although Mondo is also a little afraid of the magic lion, he still thinks that it would be best to deal with the magic lion. Mondo is very curious about how powerful this high-level magic beast is. Don't act rashly. High-level magic beasts are already very dangerous, and the magic lion is even more dangerous. We are no match for it. Bai Luo reminded Mondo again. He was worried that Mondo would act rashly without knowing the situation, so he quickly reminded Mondo of the seriousness of the matter. Bai Luo was also full of doubts about the sudden appearance of the magic lion here. He felt that it would be better not to act rashly before he could solve this doubt. Everyone, retreat. Why did the demon lion appear here? The situation is unclear. Let's not act rashly for the time being. Let's retreat first. Bai Luo shouted and led everyone to retreat. Everyone didn't know much about the demon lion and didn't know what the demon lion's appearance here meant, let alone why Bai Luo was so nervous. But they still trusted Bai Luo's words. After hearing Bai Luo's words, they hurriedly followed Bai Luo to retreat, and no one refuted. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Brother Bai, you lead everyone to retreat. I will deal with them. Mondo rushed forward after saying that, without giving Bai Luo a chance to react. Mondo just wanted to show himself. He felt that the demon lion should not be as dangerous as Bai Luo said, and thought that he might be able to deal with them. He didn't think too much, and rushed out directly. Mondo. When Bai Luo reacted, Mondo had already rushed out, and rushed in front of the demon lion, wanting to attack the demon lion. Since it was too late to stop it, Bai Luo would definitely not make things worse. Bai Luo was thinking about how to rescue Mondo, but he didn't expect the magic lions to move faster. Mondo was no match for the magic lions, let alone so many of them. Mondo was no match for them. Before he could make a move, he was surrounded by the magic lions. Surrounded by the magic lions, Mondo realized that he was overestimating himself. There were so many magic lions, each stronger than him. How could he have the courage to rush forward? Mondo, don't be anxious. Be careful not to be attacked by them. Bai Luo was still reminding Mondo, and was ready to lead others to rush forward. He couldn't just watch Mondo being surrounded and besieged. He must rescue him. Brother Bai. Mondo was also somewhat aware of fear at this time, but he didn't know what else he could do, let alone whether he could escape. Everyone, follow me and rush forward to rescue Mondo. Bai Luo gave an order, and led everyone to rush forward to rescue Mondo. When everyone heard Bai Luo say this, they followed Bai Luo and rushed forward. When they came near the magic lions, they were attacked by the magic lions. Everyone hold on. Mondo, come here. Bai Luo dealt with these magic lions while paying attention to everyone's situation. He also reminded Mondo to come to their side. As long as Mondo rushed over, they would be together. As long as they broke through, they would be saved. Bai Luo would find a way to take everyone away from here. It's not that Mondo didn't want to come over. He was just dealing with several magic lions by himself. He really couldn't rush out. He was not strong enough. Chapter 612. Abnormal Bai Luo. Brother Bai. No, these magic lions are too fierce. Some of the others were almost unable to hold on. These magic lions were already powerful, and they were no match for them. Now that the magic lions were full of anger, they were even more no match for them. Bai Luo saw that the situation was not right, but he had not thought of a better solution. Suddenly, he heard someone talking. Before he could figure out who was talking, Mondo had already broken through the many magic lions and came to Bai Luo and his friends. Seeing that they were in one place, the magic lions began to attack in the direction of Bai Luo and his friends. Bai Luo and his friends fought hard, and Bai Luo heard someone talking again. Get out. I warn you, get out. This time Bai Luo heard clearly that it was one of the magic lions who spoke. Although he didn't know why this magic lion spoke, he actually said such words, which made Mondo a little uncomfortable. Mondo rushed up and wanted to fight with this magic lion, but Bai Luo reacted quickly and immediately grabbed him. Sorry, it's our fault. We shouldn't disturb you. You continue to rest here. We won't disturb you anymore. Bai Luo pulled Mondo to apologize in a gentle manner. He even spoke to the magic lion in a lower voice, which made Mondo a little confused. Mondo wanted to rush forward, but Bai Luo held Mondo tightly and prevented him from moving. Mondo had no choice but to give up. You can go, leave here quickly, and it's best not to come back. The magic lion reminded Bai Luo and the others that they could let them go, but they must not come back. In this way, the magic lion let Bai Luo and the others leave, and Bai Luo led everyone away from the place where the magic lion was. Brother Bai, why do you do this? Mondo didn't understand Bai Luo's reaction. He didn't know why Bai Luo was so afraid of these magic lions, and didn't argue with them, especially when the magic lion said such words. Don't worry, I already have a plan. This is all because of my plan. Bai Luo explained that he already had a plan. Since this was the case, Mondo didn't dare to say anything more. He believed that Bai Luo must have an idea. Bai Luo led everyone to a remote bush and asked everyone to rest here first. Of course, everyone naturally chose to agree. Half an hour later, Mondo still couldn't understand Bai Luo's decision. After all, he didn't think they had to bow to the monster at that time. If Mondo and his team had fought hard, they might have been able to catch the monster instead of begging them to let them go. They have been in the monster canyon for a while, and the last mission was just to find high-level monsters. So Mondo couldn't understand why he gave up such a good opportunity last time. He didn't understand why he had to give up that opportunity without even trying. So he came to find Bai Luo directly. Brother Bai, why did you choose to leave there at that time? And I really can't understand the decision you made at that time. What should we do next? After all, there are dangers lurking everywhere now, and it is impossible to completely avoid those dangers. In fact, Bai Luo had already thought that Mondo would come to find him. After all, Bai Luo found too many expressions of incomprehension on Mondo's face at that time. But Bai Luo naturally had his own reasons for making this decision. He had planned this matter long ago. It was just that there was no time to explain to everyone before. Now that Mondo has come to the door, Bai Luo is not stingy to tell you the plan in his mind. Actually, I have been planning something recently, but there are still some parts that are not perfected. But now I have almost finished the plan, so I can tell you about it directly. Mondo came to Bai Luo privately before, but Bai Luo seemed to want to tell everyone directly about this matter. So the volume of Bai Luo's voice just now was quite high, and the people around him could see it. After achieving the effect he wanted, Bai Luo slowly said, after what we have encountered here in the past few days, I think we can change the way of traveling. In the past, we traveled during the day and rested at night. I think we can reverse this time point now. In the future, we will travel at night and rest during the day. After all, we came to the Warcraft Grand Canyon just to find high-level Warcraft. If we travel at night, we may have more gains. Bai Luo's words are indeed quite good. After all, their purpose is to find high-level Warcraft. During the day, they did not encounter other high-level Warcraft on the road. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. On the contrary, the high-level monsters will come out more frequently at night, but where should they rest during the day? This is a very important matter. Now they have entered the monster canyon, which is full of dangers. If they can't find a completely safe place to stay, they dare not stay in one place for too long. After all, it is not so easy to find a safe place to rest. Yifeng also thought of this problem, so after Bai Luo said that, Yifeng also put this problem on the surface. I think Brother Bai's idea is really good, but if we decide to rest during the day, where should we rest? Although there are not many monsters here during the day, there are still dangers. If we are attacked by a group of other creatures while we are resting here, it may be even more dangerous. So before we find an absolutely safe place to stay, I think this method may not work. In fact, Bai Luo didn't tell everyone about this matter before, and he was worried that he couldn't find a safe place to rest. But now that I have talked about this matter, there must be a way to solve it. Bai Luo walked to the side of the stream and stretched out his hand to point over there. Actually, I also considered this at the time, and I didn't think of any good way to solve this problem later. But now that I have mentioned this matter to you, there is indeed a way to solve it. After hearing Bai Luo's words, the others also came over curiously, and Mondo asked directly, "Oh, Brother Bai, have you found a good place?" After hearing this, Bai Luo nodded slightly. "It's not that good, but it's still quite safe. I found a magic weapon when I was in the river just now. As long as we make good use of the magic weapon, we can directly use the power of the magic weapon to form a barrier. When the time comes, we can hide in this barrier and rest directly underwater, and the water will not be able to flow in through the barrier." Chapter 613, Divine Artifact, Water Dragon Cover. After hearing Bai Luo's words, everyone walked up to Bai Luo eagerly, and then cast their eyes into the river. Everyone thought that what Bai Luo said was very novel. After all, they had never heard of such a powerful artifact. Mondo squatted down in disbelief, and then kept looking at the calm water. There was such a magical thing at that time. If such an artifact really existed, then we could hide under the water and rest. No matter what danger there was outside, it would not affect us. We would not need to send people to stand guard, and we could all rest together. Then, Yifeng on the side also echoed, "This is really good. If we really find the artifact, we don't need to worry about finding a safe place to stay in the future. Then we can rest whenever we want, right? It's really a very good artifact." Seeing that everyone responded so well, Bai Luo's behavior became excited. He had been worrying about how to solve this matter before, but he didn't expect that the artifact would be delivered to his door soon. Bai Luo also discovered it by chance today. Now he just needs to find the artifact. But this shouldn't be a difficult thing, because Bai Luo found out before that the artifact was in the river. As long as he puts in the effort to find it, he will definitely find it. So Bai Luo played with his sleeves, turned around and said to everyone, "Since everyone has agreed, let's start looking now. The artifact is in the river. If we look for it together, it should be faster. I believe that we will be able to find the artifact soon, and then we won't have to worry about finding a place anymore." Everyone is a practical person, so after saying these words, they all rubbed their hands and jumped into the river one after another. The size of the river is not too large, and there are many of them, so it doesn't take much time to find something. It didn't take long for Bai Luo to find the artifact he mentioned in the river. Bai Luo held the strange shaped stone in his hand, lifted it up, and then said directly to the people around him, "The water dragon cover has been found. There is no need to look for it anymore. Let's go up quickly." Then Bai Luo took them to the shore. He looked at the water dragon cover in his hand. In fact, Bai Luo did not know much about it, but he knew its use very well. After all, he had carefully checked the use process of the water dragon cover in the classics. Bai Luo took it in his hand and looked at it and found that it was no different from what was recorded in the classics. Now that the water dragon cover has been found, the most important thing is to activate it quickly. Yifeng and the others on the other side also felt very novel when they saw the water dragon cover in Bai Luo's hand. After all, the water dragon cover now looked like a stone with a strange shape. There was nothing much different. But Bai Luo was not worried at all. He put the water dragon cover in his hand and then slowly closed his eyes. The spell came out softly from his mouth. This was what Bai Luo saw in the classics. He also wrote down the spell. After Bai Luo's voice stopped, the stone in his hand suddenly emitted a light yellow light. As for what kind of effect this water dragon cover can produce, Bai Luo was not very clear, but he had learned more about it from the classics before. Looking at some subtle changes around him, Bai Luo observed very carefully. After a violent vibration, the water dragon cover suddenly released energy to the surroundings at a very fast speed. After a while, Bai Luo found that a light yellow barrier suddenly appeared around them, and the water dragon cover in Bai Luo's hand disappeared. Bai Luo knew that the real appearance of this water dragon cover should be this barrier. As long as they went in, they could hide in it to protect their safety. After seeing this situation, Bai Luo walked out directly and then observed the true face of this magic outside. What Bai Luo didn't expect was that this water dragon cover was a little bigger than he imagined. At that time, Bai Luo was worried that it would be too crowded inside and affect everyone's rest quality. but now it seems that there is no need to worry about this matter, because even if all of them go in, there should still be a lot of space. Bai Luo saw that everything was going very smoothly, so he opened the water dragon cover again and walked in with everyone. Now the time is almost up. Since they have found the water dragon cover, they can continue to rest here. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. He looked at Yifeng on the side and then took out some gunpowder and food from his pocket. Since we have found the water dragon cover in advance, let's rest in it quickly. We will continue to set off in the evening, and we should stay in it for a long time. Everyone should be prepared to bring all the things in. Otherwise, if we come out later, because of some things, it will waste everyone's time, so everyone should prepare well. Bai Luo didn't need to prepare too many things, because he didn't bring much luggage. Some other people prepared, but they didn't bring much things, and the space inside the water dragon cover was very large. So they brought all the things in directly, which was not a difficult task for them. Then a group of them went directly into the water dragon cover, and then the water dragon cover was activated, and they were all taken directly into the underwater world. However, this water dragon cover can only block the water outside. They have now reached the Magic Beast Canyon. There may be other creatures underwater. It may be more terrifying than the magic beasts on land. So for safety reasons, Bai Luo set up another layer of barrier around this magical beast. This can also protect them from being disturbed by those magic beasts. After setting up everything, Bai Luo slowly sat down. Everyone, take a rest. I have set up another layer of barrier outside now, so there shouldn't be too much danger. It should be very safe down here. Everyone, get up quickly, and we will continue to set off at night. Everyone felt very curious about the world here. Although they nodded and agreed to Bai Luo one after another, they couldn't hide the excitement in their eyes. They had never done such a magical thing before. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 614, No Responding System. And now they are indeed in such an environment, they actually went underwater to rest. Yifeng touched the barrier next to him. He seemed to have thought of another question. What do you think? He spoke directly. Brother Bai, although we are indeed safe now, we don't know how long it will take for this barrier to disappear. After all, this barrier is also made by the power of the water dragon cover, so we can't guarantee how long it will take for the power of the water dragon cover to be consumed. If this power suddenly disappears at that time, then we will all be in trouble. Bai Luo chuckled. He didn't think much about this, but as far as he knew, the barrier would take effect for about 12 hours. So even if they stayed in this barrier for a whole day, there shouldn't be any accidents. Don't worry about this. They can last for about 12 hours. We only need to stay here during the day. We still have to leave at night. So the situation you said will not happen at all. In addition, I have set up a barrier outside, so it is really safe here. After listening to Bai Luo's explanation, everyone laughed happily. After all, Bai Luo has already guaranteed it, so this must be the best place to stay. Bai Luo saw that everyone was relieved, and then he didn't think much about it. According to his plan, he should rest now, and they will continue their journey at night. He slowly closed his eyes. Just when Bai Luo was about to take a nap, Mondo walked to Bai Luo's side without knowing when. Looking at Mondo on the side, Bai Luo couldn't help but frowned. Could it be that something happened again? Bai Luo couldn't help thinking. What's wrong? Did something happen to you again? Looking at Bai Luo's worried expression, Mondo scratched his head a little embarrassedly. In fact, nothing happened to him at all. He came to Bai Luo just to ask Bai Luo something. Fearing that Bai Luo would worry, Mondo smiled and waved his hand. Nothing. Brother Bai, don't worry too much. I came here just to ask you something. Nothing happened to me either. It's just that I don't want to rest now, so I thought of coming to you to chat. After hearing Mondo's words, Bai Luo couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. After all, after coming to the Warcraft Canyon, Bai Luo was most afraid that something strange would happen again. Now seeing Mondo say this, Bai Luo didn't need to worry too much. He looked at Mondo beside him and raised his eyebrows. So what do you want to ask me? Just tell me what you want to ask, there's no need to think too much. Anyway, if there's anything you don't understand, you can just ask me directly. After all, I'm the one who taught you those techniques. Although I've encountered some bottlenecks in my cultivation now, I should be able to teach you more than enough. Mondo didn't come here for the techniques this time, but he just felt very curious after hearing what Bai Luo explained to him. He felt that Bai Luo knew too much, and his own knowledge was really lacking in comparison. Mondo didn't understand how Bai Luo knew so much information that he didn't know. For example, the artifact that Bai Luo just mentioned, Mondo had never heard of such a thing before. So Mondo looked at the environment they were in, and then pointed to the barrier beside them, and said to Bai Luo, "Brother Bai, I'm very curious about how you know so many things. I thought you knew a lot before, but I didn't expect that after coming here, I found that you know even more. Look at this water dragon cover we found. It was also discovered by you. I think it's very magical." After listening to Mondo's words, Bai Luo couldn't help but smile. So he wanted to ask himself this. In fact, these things were not something Bai Luo deliberately wanted to know. After all, he usually liked to read some historical books when he was bored. So some things were directly written down. This was related to his usual habits, so Bai Luo couldn't teach Mondo and the others some good methods, so he told the truth. There's nothing to be surprised about. After all, things like this are accumulated over time. I'm just very curious. Sometimes when I come across something new, I always like to study it. For example, I just think that the function of this water dragon cover is really amazing, so I know more about it, but I didn't expect to come across it here today. Bai Luo's tone was quite relaxed, but Mondo on the side really admired Bai Luo very much. He never hesitated to praise him. "Brother Bai, you are really amazing. If you hadn't found the water dragon cover this time, we might not have found a safe place to stay now." His doubts were also explained. Mondo didn't need to ask more questions, and he didn't plan to continue to disturb Bai Luo's rest here. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. Okay, then I'll go to rest first. Brother Bai, you should also rest early. After saying this, Mondo moved his position and went to rest aside. But Bai Luo, who was standing by, had no intention of taking a break. Just now, when he wanted to take a break, he was interrupted by Mondo. Now he was refreshed. However, now they have entered the water cover, so the range of activities is still relatively small. Bai Luo couldn't go out to hang out because he was too bored, so he sat down directly. After his heart slowly calmed down, Bai Luo thought of other things, because last time the system told him to find a magic core of a high-level magic beast, but the system didn't tell him clearly what kind of high-level magic beast it was. Now that they have arrived here, Bai Luo thought that he would explain things a little more clearly this time. Anyway, there was nothing to do now, so Bai Luo asked the system directly. "System, didn't you tell me last time to come to the Warcraft Canyon to look for the magic cores of high-level Warcraft? But you didn't make it clear last time what kind of high-level Warcraft you needed. Please make it clear at that time, otherwise I will call the wrong number and you will have me come again." In fact, Bai Luo did not get a reply from the system many times when he called the system. Many times, Bai Luo didn't know whether the system was deaf or blind. Chapter 615, Simple Task. But this time the system answered in a timely manner. As soon as Bai Luo finished speaking, the system's voice rang in his mind. "Monster Lizard, your mission this time is to find the demon core of the giant lizard." After hearing the system's words, Bai Luo couldn't help but frown, because in Bai Luo's impression, the level of this giant lizard didn't seem to be very high, and it was also very easy to deal with, so he thought the system was joking with him. After all, he didn't think the system would set such a simple task for him. No way. Is it really just a giant lizard? This is too easy to deal with. I wonder if you are tricking me. The system was silent for a while and then answered Bai Luo. I won't joke with you about this matter. Your mission this time is just to find the protection of the giant lizard. Is the difficulty coefficient of this mission really so low? Bai Luo also felt a little novel. After all, the previous missions were not so simple. Could it be that this time it set such a simple task to help him? Just when Bai Luo thought that the system had finally become conscientious, he didn't expect the system to suddenly speak again. Things are not as simple as you think. You can't take it lightly. This mission will definitely not be easier than the previous missions you have to complete, so you should be mentally prepared in advance. After listening to the system's words, Bai Luo subconsciously rolled his eyes. He didn't know whether he should be happy or thankful after hearing this. After all, he was still modifying the accident for the simplicity of this mission, but he didn't expect that this system would still be a dog that can't change its eating shit. However, Bai Luo should have thought in advance that these people would not set such an easy task for him. After all, the orders they issued each time were not so easy to achieve, so how could they suddenly reduce the difficulty now? Then I really have to thank you very much. It just so happened that you told me in advance, otherwise I really thought this mission was so simple. After complaining about the system did not respond to him again, and Bai Luo did not intend to pay attention to them anymore. After all, he had been with the system for a while, and Bai Luo was still very clear about their character. After resting for a while, Bai Luo did not continue to stay and to rest, but took everyone out together. After all, time has almost passed, and they have to continue their journey. They packed up everything and continued to move forward. After walking for a distance, they did not find anything wrong, but Bai Luo now knew what they should do next. After all, the system has already said that their next goal is to find the giant lizard as soon as possible. However, they have not found any other monsters along the way, and Bai Luo is not in a hurry. He knows that there is no shortage of high-level monsters in the Monster Canyon. Although the system has told him that the giant lizard is definitely not as simple as he imagined, Bai Luo does not think it will be difficult. After walking for a while, the ground suddenly shook violently. At first, the activity was not very obvious, just a slight vibration. Later, the frequency became louder and louder. Bai Luo also waved his hand to let the people behind him stop first. He did not dare to continue to move forward. After seeing this situation, Mondo behind him said anxiously, "What's going on? Is it an earthquake?" Bai Luo did not answer Mondo's question immediately, but kept looking around very vigilantly. The frequency of the ground shaking was getting louder and louder, and cracks had appeared on the ground in front of Bai Luo. Could it be that there was really an earthquake? Just when Bai Luo and his friends wanted to escape from this place, they heard several very loud roars. He looked in that direction and saw several very large monsters. It turned out that the huge shaking of the ground just now was caused by these huge monsters, and there were quite a few of them. They were rushing towards them at a very fast speed. Because they had no other business here, Bai Luo was sure that those things were rushing towards them. The situation changed so quickly, and they did not expect these monsters to suddenly appear here, and they would rush towards them at such a fast speed. So Bai Luo and his friends could not think of any other way to escape from here. They had to bite the bullet. They quickly drew their weapons and then looked at the situation around them very vigilantly. Those monsters were getting closer and closer to them, and they were also very large in size. So Bai Luo and his friends rushed directly towards them. But these huge monsters are not so easy to deal with. These monsters not only have very strong attack power, but also very fast speed. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar published this novel for the first time. Bai Luo could only rely on his agile body to avoid the attacks of the monsters. On the other side, Mondo and his friends only relied on the skills they had just learned to deal with these monsters. Although they were not hurt now, Bai Luo knew that they could not hold on for too long. In the end, Bai Luo quickly made the next decision. Since they could not deal with these huge monsters in front of them, they should quickly escape from here. If they did not leave quickly, the situation behind might only get worse. Bai Luo quickly stabilized his body and then shouted to Mondo and his friends, "We are not their opponents now. You should quickly come to me, and then we will leave here together. Everyone be careful, and don't let yourself get hurt. Because the monsters were still attacking them, Bai Luo could not be distracted to do other things, but he had to pay attention to Mondo and his friends' every move. When everyone is gathered, they will have to leave quickly. After all, they really can't stay here any longer. Those monsters have no intention of letting them go. Although Bai Luo and his men are fighting hard, these monsters are getting more and more excited. But Bai Luo and his men still have some strength, and they reunited not long after. Bai Luo looked behind him a few more times, and then quickly determined another direction. They will continue to run in that direction. After Bai Luo took the initiative to attack the monsters in front of him, he repelled a lot of them, and then quickly turned around and ran in the direction he had just determined. Everyone hurry up and catch up, don't fall behind. Okay, got it. Chapter 616, Special Existence. Mondo and the others also hurriedly followed, because they also knew that the situation was very urgent. If they didn't leave quickly, they might not be able to leave here alive. Then a group of them ran directly in that direction, but before they had time to confirm whether the monsters behind them were following them, another group of monsters suddenly appeared in front of them. This group of monsters blocked them. Bai Luo looked at the monsters in front of him and found that these monsters were not suitable for the species of the previous batch. Bai Luo hurriedly stopped. After all, he didn't expect so many monsters to appear here. Although in Bai Luo's impression, this monster canyon was not a safe place at all, but he didn't expect it to be so dangerous. These monsters came in batches, and they were not out of the danger just now, and fell into another danger. Now the situation is so urgent, Yifan couldn't help but complain. What kind of place is this? How can such things not rest? We just escaped from that place, but we didn't expect it to be even more dangerous here. Bai Luo also felt that something was wrong with this matter. After all, there were too many monsters in this area. It has been a while since I came to the Grand Canyon of Warcraft, but I have never encountered such a dangerous situation. So Bai Luo quickly looked at the geographical location here, and then took out the map in his bag. They are now in the restricted area. Bai Luo never thought about when they came to this restricted area. After all, the restricted area in the Grand Canyon of Warcraft can really make people peel off a layer of skin. Looking at the monsters getting closer and closer to him, Bai Luo didn't care about anything else, because he knew that he had to stay behind to cover the retreat. You guys go quickly. Leave this place to me first. You guys escape from this place first. Remember to run outside quickly, and don't stay here anymore. After hearing Bai Luo's words, Mondo on the other side didn't agree with Bai Luo's approach at all. After all, every time there was any danger, Bai Luo stood in the front. Half an hour later, Bai Luo and his friends were still fighting with the monsters in front of them. Bai Luo originally wanted to face these monsters alone and let Mondo and his friends leave here first, but Mondo had already sternly refused, and Bai Luo had no other way. He could only let them fight these monsters with him. However, after fighting for such a long time, Bai Luo and his team did not gain any advantage. However, the skills of Bai Luo and his team were not too weak. Although they could not suppress these guys absolutely, they would not threaten their lives. But Bai Luo knew that they had to end this battle quickly. After all, their physical strength was limited. When their physical strength was exhausted, they would really suffer a loss when dealing with these things. It was not that Bai Luo had not thought of a way, but every time Bai Luo attacked those monsters, they were blocked by them. The effect was not good at all. Just when Bai Luo was still entangled in this matter, he did not expect these monsters to stop attacking suddenly. These monsters suddenly stopped, and they looked at each other. Bai Luo did not expect such a situation to happen suddenly, but he still did not dare to take it lightly, and just stood there and watched them. As long as these monsters have the next move, Bai Luo and his team will quickly launch a counterattack. But after these monsters stopped, they did not seem to have the intention to attack Bai Luo and his team, and even slowly dispersed. Not long after, Bai Luo and his group were the only ones left in this place. Bai Luo stood there, looking ahead in a daze. He looked at Mondo who was standing beside him. After all, they had seen the scene clearly enough today. Bai Luo frowned, then turned around and asked Mondo for his opinion. He said to Mondo, "Why did these monsters suddenly leave here? Why do you think this is so strange? I always feel that this matter doesn't make sense logically, but I can't find any good way to solve it." After hearing Bai Luo's words, Mondo nodded. He felt that what Bai Luo said was indeed correct. After all, the timing of these monsters coming out was also very strange. They had no motivation to leave, because they were just relying on their numerical advantage to deal with him. But they left suddenly unexpectedly. Mondo also felt very strange. He hesitated for a while, and finally expressed his thoughts. "Do you think there is a possibility that someone has been behind this from the beginning to the end? That's why some things can't be explained, because the purpose of doing this is just to manipulate that person's plan behind the scenes. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such a strange scene. Anyway, I can't understand it. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time." What Mondo said was indeed correct, and Bai Luo also felt that it was very likely that someone was silently manipulating all this behind the scenes. And now he and the other people are all pawns of that person. Thinking of this, Bai Luo couldn't help but shudder. If this is really the case, then this matter is indeed a bit too terrifying. After all, he got this task from the system from the beginning, and now everything has deviated from the normal development track. Mondo looked at the expression on Bai Luo's face, and finally thought of some other aspects. After all, things are becoming more and more difficult to control now, so Mondo said whatever he thought of. "And think about the monsters we encountered recently. I think these monsters are very special. So I think this monster canyon is a mystery. Now we are all in this environment. It is very difficult to solve this mystery." After a moment of silence, Bai Luo slowly opened his mouth. "You are right. I also think that the monsters here are really different from the monsters outside. Is there really something hidden behind this? These monsters are really wrong." Thinking back to everything that happened in the past, Bai Luo couldn't help but close his eyes. He is now fulfilling the ins and outs of this matter, and found that there are indeed many doubts. Although many things cannot be confirmed by himself now, Bai Luo can be sure of one thing, that is, he really can't stay here any longer. It is very likely that this is a trap, and there may be new changes in the monster canyon. Bai Luo took a deep breath. Anyway, this higher level magic core is just a plan for his next plan. Chapter 617. Going back to recover. If this matter would threaten his life, Bai Luo felt that he should think about it seriously. After hesitating for a long time, Bai Luo looked at everyone again. This magic beast canyon is unfathomable. Let's leave here quickly. As for finding the magic core, we will talk about it next time. We can try it again after we are fully prepared. Now that Bai Luo has said this, Mondo and the others can't say anything more. After all, this matter was organized by Bai Luo first, and they came here just to help Bai Luo find the magic core of the higher level magic beast. After so many days of encounters here, they also know that it is definitely not easy to survive here, and there are so many magic beasts here. It will take only a few minutes to kill them. If the group of magic beasts hadn't escaped just now, they might have been killed by now. So they also know what will be waiting for them later. After hearing Bai Luo's words, they nodded quickly. They also want to leave here quickly now. Seeing that everyone's response was so good, Bai Luo didn't hesitate anymore. He picked up his luggage from the ground and planned to leave here directly with everyone. He had just started to move his legs when the voice of the system echoed directly in his mind. "What are you doing? You can't leave without completing the mission. I must complete the mission from us, otherwise you will be severely punished." At that time, I didn't expect the system to be so active at this time. After all, sometimes I couldn't find him when I wanted to find him. I guess this person has always been by my side, and he can hear what I say anytime and anywhere. As for why he pretended to be blind sometimes, it is very likely that he just didn't want to pay attention to me. Bai Luo couldn't help rolling his eyes. When I wanted to find him, he pretended to be deaf and dumb. Now that he wanted to escape alive, the system spoke more actively than anyone else. Bai Luo actually listened to the system. After all, the system knew more things in this world than he did, and Bai Luo also knew that he had to rely on the system. But the situation is different now. After all, if he stayed here any longer, he might not be able to save his life. What's the point of completing this mission? So Bai Luo was still very clear about what was important, and he had to leave this time no matter what. Besides, they were all staying here. Bai Luo couldn't joke with their lives. So after listening to the system's words, Bai Luo didn't mean to stop, but spoke directly. You don't need to worry about this matter. If you really want me to stay here, can you tell me everything honestly? After all, I know that the things behind this are definitely not simple. It is possible that you know all the plans very well, but you just didn't tell me the truth. Bai Luo paused when he said this, and then continued. Anyway, you didn't make it clear. I must leave here today. After all, these monsters are very strange, and I can't guarantee that I can deal with them now, so I must leave here. But the system seemed to be unable to hear Bai Luo's explanation, and still spoke in a cold voice. You must complete the task, and you will be punished if you don't complete the task. Since the system was unwilling to explain anything to him, Bai Luo would not give him face. Anyway, I have already made up my mind about this matter. You can't joke about our lives. I can do everything I can to complete the task you gave me, but I hope you can respect my decision. There was no sound from the system for a long time. After a while, the system compromised. Okay, this will not happen again. The system was indeed very frugal with words. Bai Luo sneered and said nothing more. After all, he did not expect the system to compromise so easily. However, he had no choice but to compromise on this matter because he now knew that this place was so dangerous and he could not stay here anyway. Mondo and the others could not hear the conversation between him and the system. During this process, Bai Luo had been leading them on the road. Because he had a map in his hand, it was not difficult to lead them away from this place. Not long after, they came to the edge of the Warcraft Grand Canyon. Bai Luo stood here and paused for a while, but finally took Mondo and the others back to the inn. He was not sure how long it would take him to come to the Warcraft Grand Canyon. It was not that he was afraid of this place, but Bai Luo knew that this matter was definitely not that simple. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus underscore. And it is very likely that he was calculated. He can't work for others for nothing, right? Just after returning to the inn, Bai Luo found that their inn seemed to be missing a lot of things. There was no need for Bai Luo to count any items. As soon as he walked in, he found that the room was empty. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell what happened here. Bai Luo didn't say anything for a while, just stood at the door and looked at the scene here. I don't know what I was thinking about in my mind, but Mondo on the side was not as calm as Bai Luo. When he saw this scene, he spoke directly. My god, what's going on? How come there are so many things missing here suddenly after I came back? Could it be that there are really thieves? Some people behind were also whispering. After seeing this situation, Bai Luo stood up directly. Anyway, the things are lost now, and Bai Luo has no way to find them back. After all, no one watched here for them during the time they were away. Bai Luo was silent for a while, and finally spoke directly to everyone. Everyone, go back to your rooms, and take inventory of your things. It's fine as long as the important items are not lost. As for those personal belongings that are lost, forget it. Everyone has worked hard these days, so everyone should go back and have a good rest and get some rest. Bai Luo was right, and everyone was really exhausted. After hearing what Bai Luo said, the group of people stopped discussing the matter and went back to their rooms to rest. But Bai Luo was not as relaxed as he said, because he felt that too many things had happened recently that he could not explain. Whether it was in the Warcraft Canyon or back to the inn. Sigh. Thinking of this, Bai Luo couldn't help but sigh. He didn't know who was behind this matter, but now he had no way to investigate this matter, so Bai Luo could only go back and rest first. Chapter 618, The Dragon Clan. The next morning, Bai Luo woke up early. Seeing nothing was happening, he left the inn. It was still early, so there were not many people on the street. As soon as Bai Luo opened the door, he was attracted by the blue crystals around the inn. Looking at the blue crystals on the ground, Bai Luo couldn't help but frown, because he knew that these blue crystals were not good things. Now he couldn't figure out the origin of these blue crystals, but it was still very strange that these things suddenly appeared here. Bai Luo slowly squatted down and then picked up a piece of blue crystal on the ground. He held it in his hand and looked at it slowly and then put it back. Now Bai Luo looked carefully and found that there were quite a lot of blue crystals around the inn. Could it be that something else happened here? But Bai Luo had been in the Warcraft Grand Canyon these days, so he didn't know what happened here. Then Bai Luo directly found the people around the inn and asked them if anything had happened here recently. As expected, there were some very strange things here. That old man said this to Bai Luo. It's really not peaceful here recently, especially in the past few days. A lot of things have happened. We won't talk about other things for now, but there are indeed some very famous people who often appear here, and the number of times they appear is very high. When he said this, the old man also touched his white beard and continued after a moment of silence. Anyway, we ordinary people don't know about this matter, but we can also guess that something like this must have happened during this period. After inquiring about the situation here, Bai Luo did not choose to stay outside, but went back to the inn directly. He took out the map he brought with him and saw a point marked on the map. Then the dragon clan marked in red on it immediately attracted Bai Luo's attention. Could it be that those people who appeared were really the dragon clan? How could they suddenly appear here? Half an hour later, Bai Luo felt that this matter was really strange. Although he now guessed that this matter might be done by the Dragon Clan, he really had too few clues. It was impossible to find out the matter immediately, and Bai Luo was unwilling to give up the clues in his hand. He always felt that all the things behind this were connected to each other. As long as he followed the clues, Bai Luo felt that he would be able to find the person hiding at the back. So after hesitating for a while, Bai Luo was still worried about this matter. Then he decided to go alone, because Bai Luo was not sure whether his guess was correct. If he called everyone together, the noise would be too loud, and it might be a false alarm. Although he might encounter other dangers if he went alone, and there would be no one to take care of him. But judging from the current situation, Bai Luo knew that this was the only way. He looked at the address on the map and walked in that direction. In fact, it was not far from the inn, so Bai Luo didn't need to spend much time to get here. But he still found some bad situations on the way, because when he came here, Bai Luo found a kind of magic energy. After realizing this, Bai Luo looked around very vigilantly, but the breath of this magic energy was not very strong, so Bai Luo just had some doubts in his mind and was not sure of his thoughts. This place is not far from the destination on the map, so Bai Luo is getting more and more nervous. He knows that something else may happen later, so he has to be extra careful with every step he takes, and he must not take it lightly. He walked forward step by step, but after a few steps, Bai Luo quickly stopped. He couldn't help but look at the black bugs at his feet. In fact, he found some of these bugs on the ground at the beginning, but because there were not many of them at that time, Bai Luo just thought that these bugs were probably creatures in the mountains. He didn't take this matter to heart, but he didn't expect that the more he walked here, the more black bugs there were on the ground. Could this be the clue he was looking for this time? Thinking of this, Bai Luo took a few steps back and then came to a place where there were fewer bugs. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. He slowly approached these bugs, and when he was sure that these bugs didn't seem to be aggressive, Bai Luo reached out and grabbed a small insect. He put the insects in his hands and looked at them slowly. However, from the appearance alone, Bai Luo could not find out what was wrong with these black insects. After all, in Bai Luo's eyes, these things looked similar, and the only difference was the color. However, Bai Luo quickly reacted. Since it was impossible to tell what was special about these black insects from the appearance, the smell could not be covered up. Then Bai Luo directly used his spiritual power, and soon he noticed that these black insects actually carried the breath of the demon clan. After sensing the breath of the demon clan, Bai Luo quickly threw the insect to the ground. Could it be that the demon clan was really doing something wrong? Bai Luo also had doubts in his heart. After all, these things were related to the demon clan. Bai Luo was unwilling to think about this before, but this was not the first or second time, so Bai Luo did not think there would be so many coincidences. But in order to confirm the authenticity of this matter, Bai Luo still inquired about the news around. It would not matter if he did not inquire about it. After inquiring about it, Bai Luo found out that there were indeed demons here. And not long ago, I heard from the villagers nearby that the demons came in a mysterious way, and no one knew what they did. After hearing these words, Bai Luo could not help but frown. Because many time points overlapped inexplicably, this also means that this matter is indeed related to the demons. Thinking of this, Bai Luo could not help but hesitate. After all, this matter did not seem to be as simple as he imagined. Before setting off, he did not think that this matter actually involved the demons. After all, the people of the demons are not easy to mess with. If he plans to continue investigating now, it is very likely that he will continue to be involved with those demons. Chapter 619 Arriving in time. This is what Bai Luo didn't want to see, so he was now hesitating whether to continue investigating this matter. Maybe there were too many mysteries behind this. If he left like this now, Bai Luo felt that he would definitely not be willing. So Bai Luo finally decided to continue investigating. Even if this matter might really involve the demon clan, Bai Luo would not give up. After all, he had spent so much effort to get here before. If he gave up halfway, all the previous efforts would be in vain. Anyway, Bai Luo felt that he must investigate this matter clearly, so he continued to move forward. Now it was slowly getting dark, and the visibility on Bai Luo's side was much lower. But as he walked, Bai Luo heard several very loud roars. This was not the volume that ordinary creatures could make, so Bai Luo quickly stopped his steps and kept looking at the surrounding situation. After that, another sound came from the sky, and Bai Luo quickly looked up over there. According to Bai Luo's current observation, those who were calling just now should be pterosaurs. However, Bai Luo was not very shocked to see these pterosaurs, because these things were not special creatures. What made Bai Luo special was actually the color of the pterosaurs. They were not the usual black and grey like ordinary pterosaurs. From Bai Luo's direction, the pterosaurs were all blue. Blue. Maybe this color has appeared too frequently in his life recently, and Bai Luo couldn't help thinking about it. But just when Bai Luo was still thinking about it, he found that his whereabouts had been discovered by the pterosaur. A strong airflow rushed towards him, and Bai Luo also found that the body of the monster was getting bigger and bigger in front of him. After seeing this situation, Bai Luo turned around and wanted to escape from this place. Because he didn't want to fight with this monster here, because he couldn't deal with it so easily now. It was possible that this monster would delay his progress later, so Bai Luo resolutely chose to escape from this place. But the monster didn't want to let Bai Luo go at all. They seemed to have discovered that Bai Luo wanted to escape, but the monster was not only large in size, but also quite numerous. Bai Luo was about to run to the back, but he didn't expect that several monsters would come from behind him and surround him. After seeing this, Bai Luo knew that it would not be so easy for him to leave today. Bai Luo drew his sword and attacked the pterosaurs when they rushed towards him. However, he could not take any advantage in the fight with the pterosaurs. On the contrary, he would be attacked by them because of their numerical advantage. But now the monsters did not give him a chance to escape. Bai Luo tried several times, but could not escape. Just when Bai Luo was in this dilemma, Mondo's voice came from behind him. "Look, Brother Bai is over there. Let's go quickly." Bai Luo turned around quickly and saw Mondo and the others standing behind him. He did not expect Mondo and the others to appear here at this time. After all, he did not notify them when he left. Bai Luo was a little overwhelmed by the situation he encountered later. So it would be great if Mondo and the others could appear here now. Bai Luo looked at the situation in front of him, and then he quickly ran to Mondo and the others. But Bai Luo didn't dare to relax at all now. After all, those greedy things in front of him were still thinking about taking his life. Bai Luo knew that, as long as he relaxed a little, those things would probably take this opportunity to rush over and attack him. He knew that the situation was urgent, so he quickly said to Mondo and the others beside him, "It would be great if you could come here at this time, but now I have a problem." When he said this, Bai Luo paused for a moment, and then pointed in the direction of Mondo. Although it was dark now, the blue body of the pterosaur was still quite bright in the dark. Mondo and the others did see these monsters when they came here, but they had been paying attention to Bai Luo just now, and now they were surprised when they looked over again. But Mondo and the others also knew what to do now. After all, they just saw those monsters fighting with Bai Luo. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus underscore. So they drew their weapons together, and before they could do anything, the blue pterosaur rushed towards them. After seeing this, Bai Luo rushed over, and before running over, he did not forget to remind Mondo and the others. These things attack very quickly, everyone should be careful, and they are very cunning, don't be ambushed by them. Mondo and the others did not think much, and rushed up with Bai Luo with their weapons. If Bai Luo could not fight those pterosaurs just now, it was only because those pterosaurs had an absolute advantage in numbers. After all, 2 fists cannot beat 4 hands. What's more, there are so many pterosaurs, but now it's different. Mondo and the others have already rushed over. So when dealing with these pterosaurs, Bai Luo obviously felt a lot more relaxed. Soon Bai Luo and the others had the upper hand, and those pterosaurs were also spiritual. After seeing the situation change, they took a few steps back. They neither left nor continued to attack Bai Luo and the others. These pterosaurs seemed to be in an invisible confrontation with Bai Luo and his group, but now that Mondo and his group had come, Bai Luo was not afraid at all. Then the pterosaurs finally recognized the reality and left after struggling for a while. Looking at the backs of the pterosaurs leaving, Bai Luo couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. He was originally thinking about how to solve this situation, but he didn't expect Mondo and his group to suddenly come. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to leave. Thinking of this, Bai Luo turned around and looked at Mondo and his group. "You came just in time, but why did you come suddenly? After all, I didn't ask you to leave with me." After hearing what Bai Luo said, Mondo was also unhappy. After all, Bai Luo helped him so much, but he didn't expect Bai Luo to not bring them with him when he encountered something. Mondo also knew that Bai Luo didn't want to implicate them, but at least Mondo and Bai Luo and his group had experienced so much together, so he still condemned Bai Luo's decision. Chapter 620, Strange Traces. Brother Bai, of course we know that someone is missing from the inn. If you encounter such a thing again in the future, you must discuss it with us. Although our skills are not as high as yours, we are still a force after all. If you take us with you, we will definitely do our best to help you. The other few people nodded along with Mondo, and Bai Luo knew that he was in the wrong, so he didn't say anything more. Although he was kind-hearted, if he put himself in his shoes, Bai Luo didn't like his friends to keep him out of the matter. In fact, I left in a hurry this time, just because things have been too uneasy recently. After all, so many things have happened recently, but we haven't found any other clues yet. I feel very anxious, so I want to come out to understand the situation. So many things happened later, and thinking of the blue pterosaurs that appeared just now, Bai Luo also felt very strange. After all, those pterosaurs can't appear here anyway, it's very abnormal. Thinking of this, Bai Luo continued to talk to them. "Did you see the pterosaurs that attacked me just now? It's very strange that they suddenly appeared here. After all, these things don't seem to be native to this place. They are definitely not creatures here. After all, there are no big forests in this area. Most of these are places where people live." Mondo and others on the side also felt that what Bai Luo said was very correct, and then the male supporting role also expressed his thoughts. "So Brother Bai, what you mean is that your guess is correct. There are indeed other hidden reasons for so many unusual things that have happened recently. After all, those monsters really shouldn't appear here." After a conversation, Bai Luo can be more sure of his thoughts. At the same time, he is also sure that there will definitely be another story behind this matter. Now that the investigation has come to this point, Bai Luo will not give up easily. Looking at the surrounding environment, Bai Luo is still a little worried. After all, too many things have happened in this area, and he doesn't know what will happen next. If those pterosaurs return to the same place, and these places are where people live. So Bai Luo is still worried that those pterosaurs will threaten the safety of the people. But now that he has investigated some clues, Bai Luo will definitely continue to investigate. After hesitating for a long time, Bai Luo looked at Duo 2 who was standing beside him, and then he said to Duo 2 directly, Duo 2, I think those pterosaurs may come to this place again. Anyway, I think this place is also very important, and it may be the key point for us to find important information. But there are still many things I need to do later, so you stay here to help me check the situation here. If something suddenly happens, you can also notify me directly. Although Duo 2 also wanted to go with Bai Luo and the others, now that Bai Luo could use him, Duo 2 naturally took the lead. Duo 2 nodded affirmatively, and then patted his chest to guarantee. Brother Bai, don't worry about this matter. Since you have handed it over to me, I will definitely take good care of the situation here. Seeing that the matter here has been handled, Bai Luo can continue to move forward with more confidence. Duo 2 stayed here to observe the situation here for himself, while Bai Luo continued to set off with the others. Bai Luo was going alone, but Mondo and the others followed him, so now Bai Luo suddenly became a group of people. Although Bai Luo was worried, he felt relieved when he saw so many friends around him. They continued to move forward, and when it was night, they found a place to stay. But there was no good place to stay around, so they could only search slowly. But as they walked, Bai Luo heard a very strange sound, which was particularly harsh in the empty woods. After determining the source of the sound, Bai Luo led Mondo and the others to move slowly in that direction. Everyone, move lightly, let's go and see what's going on over there. As they walked, Bai Luo and the others saw a light not far ahead. But now there was nothing else wrong here, and they didn't seem to find any living creatures. Then Bai Luo walked a few steps forward, and when he got closer, he found that not only was the ground here wet, but there were also obvious signs of fighting around. After seeing the situation here, Bai Luo also felt that something was not right, but there was no one around. Those sounds just now were indeed transmitted, which meant that someone had a fight here just now. He squatted down to check the situation on the ground, and after confirming the situation here, Bai Luo stood up directly. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar first published this novel. Everyone be careful, is the situation here not a little bit wrong? Although there is nothing here now, everyone should still be vigilant and never take it lightly. They could see the situation here clearly, so after listening to Bai Luo's words, they nodded. But at this time, something happened that Bai Luo was even more unexpected. There was nothing here just now, but at this time, a sword drain suddenly appeared. The next morning, Bai Luo opened his eyes in a daze, and then hurriedly looked around. But now everything around him has become very strange, and he doesn't know why he suddenly appeared here. At this time, Bai Luo thought of his magic weapon again. After thinking of this, Bai Luo quickly touched his pocket. Sure enough, the magic weapon on his body disappeared at this time. Although Bai Luo felt confused now, he was forcing himself to calm down. After all, he was the only one here, and he could only help himself. Bai Luo exhaled deeply, looked at his hands, and tried to recall what he had seen before. But now Bai Luo was at a loss, because he didn't know what happened behind, and why he suddenly appeared here now. He looked around, and found that he was lying in a piece of grass. There was nothing around, including Mondo and the others had disappeared. After realizing this, Bai Luo also felt that things were getting more and more wrong. Bai Luo was very surprised, and then walked around again, and found that it had indeed disappeared. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 621 An Unexpected Change. Where did they suddenly go? This was a situation that Bai Luo couldn't face at all. Because all these changes happened so suddenly and so fast, Bai Luo didn't have time to think about anything. He had to find Mondo and the others as soon as possible. After all, he couldn't guarantee their safety. Finally, Bai Luo thought of the sound transmission technique. He called their names over and over again through the sound transmission technique, but in the end there was no response. Bai Luo had to give up in the end. After all, if they could hear his voice, they would have responded to him long ago. Since there was no response, Bai Luo didn't need to continue shouting, which would be a waste of his time. Because there was really no clue here, Bai Luo couldn't make a decision for the next step. Just when Bai Luo was still hesitating about what to do next, the sword on his waist suddenly vibrated. Bai Luo looked down and finally saw a special mark suddenly appear on his sword. After all, this was his own sword, so Bai Luo was very clear about what had suddenly changed. Bai Luo remembered that this mark was definitely not there at the beginning, but now it appeared so obviously on his sword. After discovering this situation, Bai Luo directly pulled out his sword and then placed it in front of him. He looked at the special mark on the sword and kept guessing the source of this mark in his mind. After all, after he suddenly woke up, his magic weapon was lost and his friends around him were gone. The only thing that came out of his ears was this special mark, so Bai Luo felt that this mark might be the key to solving the problem. Bai Luo has been trying to explain the mark on the sword, but in the end he didn't find anything. At this time, Bai Luo heard the roar of a bear behind him. Because the roar of the bear was still very clear to Bai Luo, after hearing this sound, Bai Luo took his sword and ran in another direction. After all, so many situations suddenly appeared on his side, and now Bai Luo has no time to deal with these problems. So Bai Luo has no time to waste time with this big bear, so the first thing he thought of was to escape. While running over there, Bai Luo did not forget to turn around and look, and finally he saw a very large brown bear. Coincidentally, when Bai Luo turned around, he found that the big brown bear was looking at him with the eyes of looking at prey. After seeing this situation, Bai Luo could not help but speed up his pace. In fact, Bai Luo did not expect that the big bear's movement speed was so fast before. After all, he had a martial arts skill, so his movement speed was much faster than that of ordinary people. But he did not expect that the big bear moved faster than him, and the roar was getting closer and closer to him, as if it was behind Bai Luo. Through this, Bai Luo also knew that he could not outrun the big brown bear at all. So Bai Luo finally changed his strategy. He knew that he could not continue to run like this. After all, it was quite dangerous to leave his back to the enemy. Bai Luo took out his sword again, and the big bear behind him also stopped. The big bear did not seem to want to let Bai Luo go. After seeing Bai Luo stop, it opened its bloody mouth directly at Bai Luo. Then he walked towards Bai Luo step by step. Bai Luo subconsciously took a few steps back, but he also knew that he could not escape. Anyway, if he could not defeat it, he would most likely become the meal of this big bear. However, the size of this bear was really big. Normal bears were already very strong, and this bear was twice as big as ordinary bears. Seeing the big bear in front of him, Bai Luo could not help but take a deep breath. After all, so many things happened suddenly during this period of time, and now there was such a big bear threatening his life. Bai Luo now felt that his head was swollen, but he had to face the current situation. The big bear did not give Bai Luo any time at all. After seeing Bai Luo, his eyes became very excited. After that, he immediately pounced on Bai Luo, but Bai Luo happened to be prepared in advance. When the big bear pounced on him, Bai Luo quickly dodged the attack of the big bear by turning sideways. Seizing this opportunity, Bai Luo stabbed the big bear with his sword again. But even though he had stabbed the bear's leg with a sword, it didn't seem to be affected. Read the error-free version at 69 bookbar. 6 = 9 plus bookbar published this novel for the first time. Bai Luo had no choice but to attack the big bear again, because he knew that he could only use his body shape to gain some advantages. If it came to strength, Bai Luo was no match for the big bear. Fortunately, Bai Luo still had some strength. Although the big bear was very big, its reaction speed was not very fast. Bai Luo also took advantage of this and was not injured in this fight. He also stabbed the big bear with his sword frequently. But the big bear didn't intend to give up after seeing this situation. It seemed that it had identified Bai Luo. But Bai Luo was not afraid at all now because he knew that the big bear was not his opponent at all. In the end, Bai Luo still defeated the big bear. After that, he naturally went back. The next morning, Bai Luo was seen among a bunch of grass, and there were crystal clear dewdrops on the leaves of the grass. At this time, the grass swayed gently a few times, and a few small dewdrops dripped onto Bai Luo's face. Bai Luo suddenly got up and wiped the dew off his face with his hands, then looked up at the sky. The dazzling sunlight shone directly into Bai Luo's eyes, so Bai Luo lay back down the next second. Bai Luo couldn't help but feel puzzled, and two villains were fighting in his heart. Could it be that the water drops on my face just now were fake? It can't be fake. It's just because it rained just now. The villain became less and less confident as he spoke, and the other villain immediately counterattacked after noticing. But the sunlight is very dazzling, and the weather is very good. Then, Bai Luo shook his head and planned to sleep for a while, attributing what had just happened to an illusion caused by being too tired during this period. Bai Luo just squinted his eyes, and then he stood up suddenly to check the things on his body. A few minutes later, Bai Luo's face had subtle changes. His lips began to turn pale, and his face trembled slightly a few times. But fortunately this situation only lasted for a few seconds. The next second, Bai Luo's face was filled with murderous intent. He was thinking in his heart, who is it? Why is my magic weapon lost? Chapter 622. Everyone's confusion. Slept. Bai Luo grasped the key point of his words, and then he saw him carefully looking at the place where he was. At a glance, the grass was swaying gently in the breeze, and sometimes a few drops of crystal dew dripped down, as if singing and dancing gently with the morning breeze. This scene answered Bai Luo's confusion not long ago, and also made him realize that, although he was currently in a relatively comfortable patch of grass, there seemed to be no friends around him. This discovery was like a thunderbolt from the blue sky, which made him extremely desperate. But at this time, Bai Luo still had a fluke mentality. He thought to himself, maybe they are looking for food. I have to go find them, and by the way, find out if my magic weapon is lost nearby. Half an hour passed, and Bai Luo had no results. Even though he had a very good mentality, he began to be shocked. After the shock, he calmly thought about the solution. After thinking about it, Bai Luo finally decided to use the sound transmission technique to call his friends and let them come to find him. Then you can see a funny picture, a man sitting on the soft grass, with his hands like trumpets, shouting all kinds of names, mixed with some greetings. Mundo, where are you? Please reply if you hear me. After waiting for a long time, there was no news, so Bai Luo gave up. He first carefully observed the current situation around him, intending to find a breakthrough, to break out of the siege. In this way, Bai Luo walked aimlessly, and then he would find his figure in the place where he said he was lying before. At first, Bai Luo did not notice this abnormality. After many times, Bai Luo was out of breath, and felt that the surrounding scenery seemed familiar, so he made a mark at the original place, and walked again along the footprints. For this reason, Bai Luo initially determined that he had been trapped, so you can see him cursing. Whose trap did I fall into? You will be in trouble when I get out. You took advantage of others to do this kind of mean operation while they were sleeping. Bai Luo did not give up because of this. He made a bold guess, based on his past experience. If nothing unexpected happens, the other party will have a friendly communication with me in a short while. Then Bai Luo took out his sword and planned to practice. Without any hesitation, Bai Luo began to practice. Bai Luo did not start with a simple one, but directly connected 12 swords. His eyes were like lightning, piercing through the void, as if he wanted to kill everything around him in seconds. The next second, Bai Luo suddenly jumped up, as if he was swooping down from a high peak. With a flash of sword light, the surrounding grass and trees were all swept away. The sound of wind sounded, followed by the shocking scene of the grass being blown up. Seeing this scene, Bai Luo finally showed a satisfied smile. Then, Bai Luo smiled and stroked his beloved sword, as if he was stroking a child's head. Bai Luo's smile froze, because he found that there was a special mark on his sword. He stared at the special mark on the sword with a horrified expression, as if he wanted to eliminate the special mark with his eyes. At this time, Bai Luo began to have a vigilant idea, and at the same time, he wanted to slap himself twice for his previous negligent behavior. Then Bai Luo began to study this special mark carefully, recalling in his mind whether this mark was related to the person who had a grudge against him before. After thinking for several minutes, Bai Luo really had no idea. He shook his head and decided to put this matter aside for the time being, so he had the idea of removing this mark. Once this idea came into being, it was unstoppable. So you can see a man sitting on the remaining grass holding his beloved sword and fiddling with something. Because Bai Luo's thoughts were focused on how to remove this special mark, he thought it was an auditory hallucination when he heard the bear's roar at first, but he did not ignore it, but instead paid some attention to these things. Just when Bai Luo was about to withdraw his thoughts and concentrate on removing the special mark, he heard the roar of the monster, because the sound seemed to be right next to his ear, so he couldn't deceive himself. The roar of the bear was getting closer and closer, and Bai Luo immediately concluded that the bear was coming towards him. After feeling that the other party was almost coming, he immediately evacuated. But his 2 legs couldn't outrun the 4 legs, and the speed of the monster was so fast that, even if Bai Luo could fly with his sword, he might only be able to fight to a draw. Moreover, Bai Luo was in a restricted place, so he couldn't do that at all. It can be seen that the 2 sides were in a fierce confrontation. In desperation, Bai Luo planned to have a good talk with the other party, but the bear ignored Bai Luo and gave him a contemptuous look. Bai Luo was not irritated by this small look and tried to reason with the guy who didn't understand human words. The monster picked his ears and ran straight to Bai Luo. Fortunately, Bai Luo had expected that the other party would fight him, so he immediately took out his weapon from behind to fight. At this time, Bai Luo still had the mind to complain. I advised you to be a civilized monster, but I didn't expect you to only want to fight, so I'm sorry. The monster was also treacherous. While Bai Luo was stunned, he planned to blow directly at Bai Luo's head. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. Bai Luo noticed it and calmly flipped the sword in his hand. White sword energy spread out with the dance. The monster would be seriously injured if it got a little closer. The bear was very smart. It ran behind Bai Luo without making a sound, intending to attack from behind. Just when the bear was about to succeed, Bai Luo reacted. He smiled and his eyes were cold. He quickly retreated to the side of the monster, waved his sleeves, and the world spun. He turned his sword and stabbed it without hesitation. Bai Luo won a great victory, and the monster fled. After the other party ran away, Bai Luo found that the environment he was in had changed qualitatively. A familiar feeling came over him, so Bai Luo looked around. When he was wondering in his heart, he heard the voice of his friend, which surprised him. "Brother Bai, why are you here?" Bai Luo rubbed his ears when he heard this, obviously not believing what he heard. But the voice was getting closer and clearer, so Bai Luo had to face reality. Bai Luo slowly turned around, staring blankly at everything in front of him. He found that Mondo and others were standing not far away and greeted him with a smile. This scene was too beautiful, causing Bai Luo to subconsciously think that it was an illusion. Brother Bai, come back to your senses." Mondo was very confused when he saw Bai Luo in a trance, but his hands did not stop moving. He shook Bai Luo desperately and did not forget to free up one hand to wave under Bai Luo's eyelids. "Mondo?" Bai Luo stared at Mondo with a puzzled look, trying to see the shadows of other people from Mondo. Duo 2 scratched his head in confusion and asked Mondo carefully, "Is Brother Bai possessed by a monster?" Chapter 623, Assembly. "I think there is a problem here." Mondo pointed to his head while speaking and did not forget to observe Bai Luo's expression. Hearing this, Bai Luo finally believed that he had escaped the enemy's trap and immediately counterattacked. "I think there is a problem with you two." It is not difficult to find that after Bai Luo said this, a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. In this way, several people returned to where everyone was. Afterwards, Bai Luo heard a faint squeaking sound. In this regard, he immediately asked his friends, "Did you hear any strange sound coming from?" Several people answered in unison, "No." Hearing this, Bai Luo couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. But at this moment, Bai Luo found that there was a small area not far away with a black crack, and these cracks were very even, which made him have other ideas. Just when he was about to signal his friends to be careful, a cry came to Bai Luo's ears. Because the sound was too loud, he was a little dazed, and for a moment Bai Luo forgot what he was going to do. "Brother Bai, you see there is a crack, and the crack is getting bigger and bigger, and it is even going to split the land in two. I have already discovered it, and was about to remind you." Bai Luo replied calmly, and he arranged the next response measures in an orderly manner. When Bai Luo saw that the land continued to collapse, and there was a vague trend of collapse towards them, he couldn't help but be shocked. Although he was very surprised in his heart, he looked very calm, and he had a vague answer in his heart. For this reason, Bai Luo said very confidently, "I think the current situation may be caused by human beings. After all, the speed of the land collapse is so uniform." Bai Luo looked at everything in front of him with concern, and then said, "When the enemy comes, the general will fight, and when the water comes, the earth will cover it. Now we should focus on ensuring our lives. Evacuate everyone. It's not safe here." Everyone quickly packed up and listened to Bai Luo's orders. At this moment, Bai Luo seemed to have thought of something and hesitated. Could this be a trap set by the enemy? If so, we are now in a dilemma. Who is willing to go out with me to explore? As soon as he finished speaking, Mondo immediately stood beside Bai Luo, and everyone followed suit. "Okay, Mondo, you lead the team, and I'll stay behind to avoid being caught in the enemy's empty city plan." Bai Luo finished speaking and motioned Mondo to lead the team to explore. Half an hour later, Mondo and others came back in a hurry, and Bai Luo's anxiety was finally relieved. Because he couldn't hold on any longer, the land was slowly collapsing towards their place. Although the collapse speed was not as fast as before, there would always be a day when it would end. Bai Luo shook his head to prevent himself from immersing himself in the past, and his eyes said, "Did you gain anything?" "No." This result was within Bai Luo's expectations, and he immediately explained the second measure in his mind to his friends. "Then we shouldn't stay here. Let's evacuate quickly." "Brother Bai, is there anywhere else we can go?" Duo 2 asked in confusion. "The inn where we stayed before." As soon as the voice fell, everyone immediately set off for the inn. Half an hour later, everyone successfully arrived at the inn. But when Bai Luo was talking to the innkeeper, he found that many common people gathered around, so Bai Luo teased the innkeeper, "I haven't seen you for a few days. Your business has reached a new level? I haven't seen you for a few days. You have become more talkative. They all come to see you." The innkeeper patted Bai Luo on the shoulder and turned to leave. When the people saw the innkeeper leave, they immediately surrounded Bai Luo. In response, Bai Luo asked with a puzzled look, "What do you want to see me for?" Before the voice fell, the people spoke one after another, one word after another, so noisy that Bai Luo's head hurt. In desperation, Bai Luo could only shout loudly, "Okay, can you send a representative to explain to me? I really can't hear you all talking at the same time, and I don't know what you are talking about." The people looked at each other, and the scene became quiet in an instant. Seeing this, Bai Luo smiled with relief. This phenomenon did not last long. The people began to discuss something in a low voice. Bai Luo did not say anything to stop them, but waited patiently. Fortunately, the people were reasonable people. After a while, the people nominated a representative. The representative said in an orderly manner, "We think you are a kind person." As soon as the voice fell, some people began to echo, not giving Bai Luo a chance to maintain order, and the representative stopped them. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. At the same time, Bai Luo raised his eyebrows and showed a puzzled expression on his face. Just as he was about to ask why, The representative spoke first and said, "We want to invite you to lead us out, to destroy the enemy in the future. It was just a piece of cake before, and you made it so grand. I will still help you, if you need me in the future. Forget about being the leader?" Bai Luo responded sincerely. After hearing this, the people instantly became uneasy and the scene began to chatter again. In response to this, Bai Luo frowned and opened his mouth several times to say something, but in the end he did not say anything, and planned to leave this place of trouble. The representative noticed Bai Luo's strange mood and immediately signaled to control the scene. At the same time, he moved to Bai Luo's side and whispered to him. I don't know what the representative said to Bai Luo, but the final result was good. Bai Luo asked the representative, "Why don't we hold a swearing-in ceremony to prevent one party from breaking the contract?" "That's what I mean. Then you can explain this situation to the people." Bai Luo nodded and signaled others to gather together quickly. The people agreed. After that, the morale of the people was quite high, and almost everyone was full of fighting spirit. Seeing this scene, Bai Luo was naturally very happy. That night, Bai Luo naturally wanted to treat them well. After all, he knew very well that, if he had any actions in the future, he would still have to rely on these people. At the same time, Bai Luo also understood that they must have a great advantage in numbers this time. But to be honest, their overall combat power is definitely inferior to that of the other side. If those guys hiding in the dark all have special skills, then they are definitely not the opponent of the other side. Mundo, give the order to distribute these things to everyone first. Okay, Brother Bai. Hearing this, Mondo naturally did not dare to neglect it. Besides, Bai Luo has always been very good to them, and he must have obeyed from the bottom of his heart. After finishing all this, Bai Luo fell asleep without thinking too much. Chapter 624, Bringing Back Research. The next morning, Bai Luo woke up very early. After all, a lot of things happened recently, and Bai Luo didn't sleep very well. He went to bed with a lot of things on his mind last night, and there were still many things that he hadn't solved. When he opened his eyes in the morning, Bai Luo thought about the things that he hadn't solved yesterday. Although time passed day by day, the matter was still there. That place was really strange, but he couldn't go there alone now. He knew that he had to ask someone to go with him, but it wouldn't work to just ask Mondo and the others. Thinking of this, Bai Luo couldn't help but hesitate. After all, there were too few choices for him now, and Bai Luo couldn't make a decision for a while. So Bai Luo paced in the yard. Mondo on the other side saw Bai Luo, and didn't think much about it, so he walked directly towards Bai Luo. He saw the worried expression on Bai Luo's face, and almost guessed why Bai Luo was worried, and then said to Bai Luo, "Brother Bai, are you still worried about what happened yesterday? Actually, there is a solution to this problem. Although there are many puzzles over there, as long as we investigate first, we will definitely gain something." Bai Luo nodded. He naturally knew the truth of this matter, but now he couldn't do it alone. "I would like to investigate that bad place, but I really don't have enough manpower." Both of them hesitated for a while. This matter was indeed a difficult problem, but Mondo suddenly thought of another way. "Otherwise, let's gather some civilians with better skills to go with us. Although the strength of the civilians may not be as good as those who practice, at least they can help us." Bai Luo hesitated a little. He was still worried that the civilians would fall into danger at that time. But after weighing the pros and cons, Bai Luo finally nodded, because there was not much time left for him, and he couldn't keep entangled in this matter. He had to solve these things quickly. Anyway, he would take it one step at a time, and talk about the rest later. "Okay, then I'll try to ask the people what they think." After the two of them confirmed their ideas, they went to the surrounding villages together. When they arrived at the first destination, Bai Luo looked at the deserted atmosphere on the street and then expressed his doubts. "Why is it so deserted here today? It seems that there are not many people on the street. It shouldn't be so. After all, there are still many people on the street at this time. Why do I suddenly feel that more than half of the people are missing now?" Mondo frowned. He also found that the atmosphere today was indeed a bit strange. The street looked particularly deserted. There were not many people at all, and their purpose today was to gather everyone to go with them. Now after seeing this situation, the two of them didn't know what to do next for a while. For the sake of safety, Bai Luo grabbed a passerby and wanted to ask him what happened here. Brother, why are there so few people on the street today? Logically speaking, this should be the time of the day when there are the most people. After hearing Bai Luo's words, the man looked at Bai Luo in front of him. There was a strong sense of vigilance in his eyes. After seeing this situation, Bai Luo hurriedly explained to the man in front of him. Brother, don't get me wrong. We are also from the surrounding towns. We came here today to visit relatives, but suddenly we saw that the situation on the street was a little strange, so we wanted to ask. After hearing Bai Luo's answer, the man didn't seem to resist Bai Luo as much as before, and then explained to Bai Luo why the place suddenly became like this. You don't know this. In fact, this is something that happened recently. In the past 2 days, many people in our area have disappeared for no reason. At the beginning, we were still looking for them nearby, but in the end, we never found any clues. Later, people kept disappearing, but we just couldn't stop this phenomenon. When he said this, the man in front of him looked at the deserted scene on the street again. Bai Luo could also see that he was really sad about the phenomenon here. Look at it now, there are so few people here, it feels completely different from before, but we don't have any other solution. We have thought of all the solutions we should think of, but they don't work at all. After saying this, the man sighed. After hearing this man's description, Bai Luo's expression became even uglier. He thought there was some custom here before, which led to so few people on the street today. Now he found out that someone in the town disappeared for no reason. It is really unreasonable, at least it can't be explained by common sense. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. After all, how could so many people disappear at once and not let the people around them suspect it? Bai Luo was silent for a while and didn't speak for a long time, but he was still imagining many possibilities in his mind. But after all, the clues now are really limited, so Bai Luo couldn't guess anything. He came here originally to recruit some people to join him, but he didn't expect to find out that so many people disappeared suddenly after asking. Now his plan could not be carried out. After all, Bai Luo knew that finding those people was the most urgent thing. It just so happened that they had not been missing for a very long time. Even if someone was really behind this, if he looked around, he might still be able to find the missing people. After considering this, Bai Luo looked at Mondo and Duo 2 beside him. Then he said to them directly, Mondo, Duo 2, you guys go check the situation around quickly to see if there are any clues about the other people around. If you find anything, report back to me quickly. Don't act on impulse. After all, the most urgent thing now is to find those missing people first. Mondo and Duo 2 nodded quickly and then called a group of people to go around with them to check the situation. Bai Luo was not idle either. After all, his plan could not be carried out now, so he had to solve the matter at hand. He asked them to look around, and Bai Luo kept looking for clues in the town. But to Bai Luo's disappointment, he didn't find any substantial clues after searching the town for half a circle. Chapter 625 No Clue. After a long walk, Bai Luo returned to the place where he had just started. After about half an hour, Mondo and Duo 2 also came back. Before Bai Luo could speak, the two reported their findings there. Brother Bai, we just searched around here and didn't find anything suspicious, nor did we find any human figures. Bai Luo frowned. He didn't expect that neither of them had found anything. So where did the missing people go? This really didn't make sense. After all, so many people disappeared at once. It's impossible for them to disappear all of a sudden. Bai Luo also felt that this matter was even more suspicious, but he had no way to do anything. Just when Bai Luo was still thinking about this matter, Mondo on the other side spoke again. Mondo took out a blue gem from his pocket. Then he put the blue gem in front of Bai Luo and spoke. Brother Bai, we found this gem when we were looking for the missing people around here. At that time, we thought that this gem looked very strange. It is not only blue, but also has many special marks on it. Although we don't know what it is, we still want to bring it back for you to see first. Bai Luo took the blue gem from their hands and then put it in his palm to look at it. What Mondo and Duo said was indeed correct. There are indeed many marks on this blue gem. And Bai Luo couldn't understand these marks for a while, just thought that these marks were very strange. This thing does look a little bit unusual, but I can't investigate anything now, so let's take it back to the inn to study it and see what this gem does. Both nodded, agreeing with Bai Luo's statement. Since they couldn't find any clues about the missing people here, they didn't choose to stay here. Because today's plan didn't start at all, it was disrupted in the middle, and something else happened later. So Bai Luo was still worried after returning to the inn, and he stayed in his room all the time. At night, Bai Luo suddenly felt a little uncomfortable, and he seemed to feel that the spiritual power in his body was stirring. This feeling of being out of control was not too good for Bai Luo. After all, this situation was still very rare. Could it be that something happened around him? At first, Bai Luo didn't take it to heart, but soon this feeling became stronger and stronger. Bai Luo slowly closed his eyes and then used his spiritual power to sense the changes around him. Soon Bai Luo opened his eyes again because he actually felt that the spiritual energy around the inn suddenly became very sufficient. No wonder the spiritual power in his body would store and move. Could it be caused by the change of spiritual energy around this inn? Thinking of this, Bai Luo hurried out of his room and then went to check the situation around the inn. Because he knew that a place could not be suddenly filled with so much spiritual power for no reason. There must be something that has changed. So Bai Luo wanted to come down to see the situation here and see what happened here. But after walking a few steps, a very old voice came into his mind, and Bai Luo couldn't help being shocked. After all, a lot of things have happened recently, and Bai Luo didn't think this was a good thing. He quickly looked around and found that no one around explained that the voice just now should have come from his mind. Could it be an evil spirit? But the old voice sounded in Bai Luo's mind again, and this time Bai Luo heard his words very clearly. Young man, don't worry, I'm not a bad person. I'm the guardian of this earth. If you don't mind, I can teach you some skills. Bai Luo didn't feel any ripples in his heart after hearing what this person said. On the contrary, he felt more suspicious of this person's identity. After all, he didn't believe that there was any guardian of the earth in this world, nor did he believe that there was any normal person who said he would teach him skills. As soon as he saw him, Bai Luo didn't think his luck was so good, so he doubted this person even more. In the end, he ignored this person for the sake of caution. The man tried to communicate with Bai Luo several times, but Bai Luo did not answer him once, and soon the man's voice disappeared from Bai Luo's mind. However, Bai Luo did not think it was a pity. Seeing that the man finally stopped trying to deceive him, Bai Luo could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. Could it be that this was also a new method that the man behind the scenes had come up with? The purpose was to deal with him. But now there was no way to know about this matter, and Bai Luo had no time to investigate what was going on. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. After all, the top priority now is to find those missing people as soon as possible. The longer time passes, the greater the possibility that those people will fall into danger. It just so happens that they have not disappeared for a long time, so Bai Luo thinks they can still save them in advance. When it was early the next morning, Bai Luo took Mondo and others to look for the traces of the missing villagers around. Mondo and Duo 2 had already looked for them once yesterday, but they did not find any traces of the missing villagers. Brother Bai, are you sure we should continue to search? I feel that those people are not around here at all. If they were around here, we should have found them yesterday. It is impossible that we have not found any clues at all. Bai Luo also knew this truth, but now they had no other way, so they could only use some stupid work. So Bai Luo just sighed and said what he was thinking. I have no other way. I also know that the possibility of finding clues is very small, but now we can only investigate like this. Let's see if we can find a useful clue by chance. Since Bai Luo had already said this, Mondo couldn't say anything more. Several people began to search for the people who disappeared at night. After all, the number of villagers in the town was constantly decreasing, and they didn't find any other clues. Bai Luo was also a little anxious, but after he and Mondo searched for a long time, they found that there was still no clue, which also disappointed them. After seeing this situation, Bai Luo quickly forced himself to calm down. He had to think of another solution now. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.